Welcome to the PCL, y'all. It's good to have y'all in the building. We've been wanting to do this for a very long time, and we are finally here. I got three big time matchups today. On Wednesday, on Sunday, we'll come back with round two of week one of the PCL. But in case you're wondering, you don't know what's going on, the PCL is an NBA debate league. It's 7 weeks long. It will be 4 weeks of the regular season and 3 weeks of playoffs. I got 16 of the dopest contestants, the toughest contestants, the best basketball heads from around the globe right here in this PCL. Today, we really have a heavyweight matchup to start out with. I got my man Elder Rufus. I got Casual. The next matchup, I got OGDABEAST and Big Ox. And to cap the night, I got Chilltown Hoops and Haize. But here's basically what we're gonna do. It's gonna be 3 rounds of 3 different topics. These dudes, they're gonna come up here. Each of the rounds, they're gonna other person's gonna be muted, and one person's gonna talk, and they're gonna get into it. Essentially, it's gonna be a minute and a half each round. They're gonna get a chance to get off their takes, and we're gonna see who comes out on top. So let me go ahead and bring these guys up. I'm gonna ask them a question or two, and then we're gonna jump into it. We're not even gonna play around. Elder, what's going on, my man?
Salute, my brother. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. It's a long time no see.
Oh yeah,
You
staying busy, always on the grind.
you been in the lab?
Not this type of lab, but I'm ready for
Oh,
this.
okay. So you ain't really need to do much practicing.
I mean, no. I mean, this most of this stuff we talking about off the top of the dome. I got a little
Uh-huh.
something, but we'll see how it
This
go.
this this easy.
Yeah, this easy stuff right here, man.
Okay. All right. Let me get my man Casual up here. What's going on, Casual?
What's the word? What's the word? How you doing? How you doing?
I'm all right, man. You ready to cook up?
I heard this was easy. Guess I'm an easy opponent.
Mm.
Now, I wasn't
All right.
saying you an easy opponent. I said this easy stuff to talk about. But you may end up being an easy opponent. We'll see.
We'll see.
All right, y'all. Well, we're going to go ahead and get into it. Y'all know what the first topic is. For the first topic for you guys, we got Larry Bird and we got Kevin Durant. Who is the better small forward out of these two? Casual got Kevin Durant. Elder Rufus got Larry Bird. We cool with this? Y'all ready to rock and roll?
Let's get
Yes,
it.
sir.
All right, cool. As I was saying, oh, and by the way, everybody watching, this isn't just for shits and giggles. This isn't just for bragging rights. There is $1,000 on the line right now for this whole thing, and it starts right now. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get into it. JD got the time. He's gonna go ahead and hit that as soon as I say go, and it's on you. Elder Rufus, we are going to start this round with you. Casual, the next round will start with you. Elder Rufus, you'll take round 3 first.
Okay.
All right, y'all ready to do it?
Let's do it.
All right, your time starts now.
All right, I would say Larry Bird is a better small forward than Kevin Durant because Larry Bird played in one of the hardest eras of all time, one of the most scoring eras of all time. Really, where the super teams kind of really started. The era he played in, I mean, the Lakers had a super team, Philly had a super team, they had one, the Pistons ended up having one, and him and Magic went back and forth. But when you compare the stats between Larry Bird and Kevin Durant. Really, the only area that Kevin Durant has a little bit of an edge over him is longevity, and he has it in a little bit in scoring. But as you've seen with Larry having super teams, he had to split all that up. But Larry was I would say they are probably even in shooting. In my personal opinion, I actually like Bird more, but I'll call it even. But Bird is a much better passer and a much better rebounder than him. He was a much better defender. He got accolades in all those areas. Kevin Durant has none in that. Pretty much Kevin Durant has just been a scorer. And at the end of the day, Bird has been a much better leader. He came in right out of college in the second year in the league, led that team with all those superstars to the championship. And he's always was, and always will be the best player on those teams in the 80s with Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale, Dennis Johnson, Danny Ainge, all those guys. He was the number one guy. And again, he led his teams. He didn't have to go hook up with anybody else. He led those teams to 3 championships during those years. So that's why he's the best.
All right, Casual, your rebuttal is now. Round 1 starts right now for you.
Well, I didn't know it was possible for him to lose me in the first 10 seconds. He said Larry Bird played in a harder era. I was like, okay. I don't know how hard the 80s were. I don't think the 80s were that hard. I think when you look at Larry Bird's peak, now if you were to do the totality of Larry Bird's career, then you start throwing in like guys like Dr. J, Moses Malone, okay. But when you look at his apex, when he was winning those 3 championships, when he was piling up those 3 MVPs specifically, it was really just Magic Johnson and the Lakers. Isaiah Thomas wasn't an MVP candidate like a Larry Bird to steal those awards from Larry Bird. The Pistons started to really get good towards the tail end of the Celtics' time. They started winning as soon as Larry Bird's back started to go out. Other than Magic Johnson, who was really competing for those chips with Larry Bird? I mean, Philly was a tough team, but that was early on in Larry Bird's career before Larry Bird was a for real MVP candidate. And you said Larry Bird led those teams to 3 championships, and you're saying Kevin Durant wasn't leading teams. Well, last time I checked, Kevin Durant had never had a finals MVP go to one of his teammates. Kevin Durant won every single finals MVP he was on. Larry Bird's first championship, it was Cedric Maxwell, I believe, in 1981, not Larry Bird. Kevin Durant was also the leading scorer on his team in every single one of his NBA finals. So if you want to talk about him leading teams to championships, I see a leader when he is leading his team in scoring. In every single finals he's been in, won or lost, the ones he was healthy, not including the Toronto Raptors one where he played 11 minutes.
All right. We off to a hot start. Y'all heard round 1 from both of these individuals. Now we're going to get into round 2. Elder Rufus, it is on you, and your time starts.
Hold on, I thought we swapped. We don't go back and forth.
Hold up, stop the time. No,
I started the last one.
It's 3 rounds per topic.
No problem. No problem.
So now you get to rebuttal him now.
Oh, hold on. 3 rounds per topic?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My bad. All right, let's go.
All right, here we go. Back on you.
Mm-hmm. All right, I wouldn't call Kevin Durant leading anything just because he led the team in scoring. That team was already a ready-made championship-level team. When Larry Bird got to the Celtics, they were not even close to being a championship team. I think they hadn't won a championship since '76, if I'm not mistaken. And he got there in, 80? That's when him and Magic got there to the league. So they were not even close to being a championship-level team when Larry Bird got there. I wouldn't call what Kevin Durant do as leading. I mean, it's easy to jump on a bus that's already rolling and already knows how to win chips and things of that magnitude. And that team was clearly Steph Curry's team. Him and Klay Thompson gave that to old boy. They allowed him to come in and do that. And again, what he does is score. So no one's surprised that he led that team in scoring because Steph and them just allowed him to come in and fit in with the team. Larry Bird, even in his heyday, though, there were still great teams in the East. You still had teams like the Pistons that were still very good, Cleveland that was very good, Philly that was very good. There was a lot of very good teams in the East still back then. And in the West, these teams just were dominant. Again, you had super teams. That's why I said it was multiple teams that became super teams. So the Lakers and the Celtics did dominate that, but Larry Bird was the leader of his team through the whole entire thing. And again, you talk about 3 MVPs in a row. You talking about being the MVP of the championship those 2 years. I mean, Bird to me, just gutty, gritty, and in every other aspect of the game, he was just better than Kevin Durant. There's no other aspect he's not.
All right, Elder, that concludes your time. Casual, is on you. Round 2 for you starts right now.
I think you're really trying to make the gap between him as a scorer and shooter with Bird and Kevin Durant closer than it actually is. I think you said slightly better, which just isn't true. I mean, Larry Bird for his time was a good shooter, but then when you put Larry Bird against the other shooters, especially Kevin Durant era shooters, he doesn't come close as far as the percentages. Kevin Durant was in the playoffs, in the regular season, in the NBA Finals, 50, 40, 90, a whole bunch of times. I think that's what he averages in the NBA Finals, 50, 40, 90. That's not what Larry Bird does. How many seasons is Larry Bird shooting 38, 40% from 3? How many seasons is he doing that? Not that many, albeit the volume isn't as crazy, but Kevin Durant's just a more volume shooter as well. They're not the same level of score. Kevin Durant hasn't averaged less than 25 points per game since his rookie season. And you still try to say the 80s were tough. I don't think the 80s were tougher than Kevin Durant's era. I think Kevin Durant faced tougher competition. Now, again, it's all down to Larry Bird's peak. At Larry Bird's peak, what his apex, when he was winning those trophies, when he was winning those 3 straight MVPs, other than Magic and the Lakers, who was really taking it from him? Philly wasn't there. And then the Pistons came along right at the tail end. Who was taking those away from him? Because MJ wasn't on a good team yet to really win those MVPs. So who was taking it away from Larry Bird other than Magic?
All right, Elders, back on you. We got round 3. This is the conclusion of this topic. You guys in with some haymakers. Elders, back on you. Your time starts right now.
Okay. The era that he was in, again, they were allowed to play actual defense. The defensive guys actually could be physical and aggressive. Again, there was 2 different styles with Magic and with what's the name them. But again, you saying who overtook him? Nobody could overtake him because he was that good in the East. Magic just happened to be that good in the West. There's always going to be a team in the other conference that you go against. So it's only going to be a Western Conference if you East or East if you West. So your argument there makes no sense that these teams weren't good because Magic was the only one to beat them. Those other teams weren't good enough, even though they were good. Those were good teams. He took out Isaiah Thomas and he took out Michael Jordan and he took out Larry Nance and all these dudes. He took these dudes out. And those teams were good. The Knicks teams were tough. But again, none of those teams could match Larry Bird. None of those teams could match Larry Bird. None of them could. And then when you talk about 50, 40, 90, do you understand who created 50, 40, 90? You may want to go back and research that. You keep talking about his peak. He did that 3 straight years. That's why he won MVP. Larry Bird and them didn't shoot threes like that. It wasn't really a part of the game. But Larry Bird, when they started shooting more threes, go look at what his percentages was. Larry Bird was right there at 40% every time, bro. And again, he had to split it up with other players. So you are eliminating this part. What about the rebounding? The man averaged 10 rebounds. What about the assists? Kevin Durant don't hold a candle to him in neither one of those other categories. Or defense. Bird, 3-time defensive player.
All right, Elder, I had to mute you. Your time is up. Casual, it is back on you for the last round of this topic. Talk to me.
Well, you brought up a couple teams for Larry Bird's competition. One of them was the New York Knicks. I don't know who was on the New York Knicks in the 1980s, but they weren't even close to being a competitive team next to the Celtics with Larry Bird. And then you also brought up the Cavs, Larry Nance. Larry Nance is contending for finals and MVPs. Okay, I will give you that. Larry Bird's a better playmaker. He has better defensive IQ. I won't say he's much of a better defender because I think Kevin Durant's more athletic. He's longer length as far as he averages more block shots, and he's more athletic. Larry Bird does have, he does have the defensive IQ, although it's different eras, though, because Kevin Durant has to play defense in a wider space early. Because you did say the defense was better in the 80s. I'm not glorifying Bad Boy Pistons documentaries. I actually went back and watched some of those games. A lot of those guys were slow-footed. The spacing wasn't all that great. Yeah, the defense might look better. Well, that's because maybe they might hard foul once or twice a game in the paint, and that lets get slide. Other than that, you can hand check a little bit. It wasn't that crazy. These guys weren't crazy. They're better athletes today. It's just the spacing was all that cooked. But yeah, I will give you the better leader. It is a hard battle because most people would agree that Larry Bird is better than Kevin Durant. But when I think about Kevin Durant, I think about one of the greatest scorers to ever play this game. I think about probably the biggest plug-and-play guy in NBA history. You put him on any team, they're going to go to the playoffs. You put him on any team, you have no chemistry problems, you're fine. He's going to get his 30, and you're going to win a lot of games. That's who Kevin Durant is. He's an MVP. He's a champion. And in the finals, he's one of the greatest final performers.
Casual, I muted him, so I had to mute you. I gotta be consistent. All right, y'all just seen it. That was the conclusion of round 1 or topic 1. That was a good topic. We had the good old Larry Bird, 1980s, versus Kevin Durant, the current era right now. Who is the better small forward? We're going to put up a poll right now. We're going to allow you guys to vote and let us know who do you think won. Keep in mind, chat, I need you guys to do me a favor. Before this poll goes up, I need you guys to do me a favor. We're not being biased, okay? We not do it. We starting this off right now. The first battle in the PCL. We are not being biased. If you like Casual more, don't vote on him because you like him more. If you like Elder Rufus more, don't vote on him because you like his personality more. If you like KD more than Larry Bird, don't vote on Larry Bird or KD just because you like him more. What we're voting on is who had the better take, who made the more compelling argument, Who was more convincing? Who brought stats? Who brought facts? Who had aura? You know, like who was entertaining? All of this goes into the whole thing. It's a whole pizza. It's not just one slice. All right, man. Y'all go ahead, get over there and vote, and let's figure out who won this round. Keep in mind too, while you guys are voting, this isn't just the live chat that votes on this, guys. This vote will run consistently through and through. So until the end of the regular season, these votes are live on YouTube and people can come and vote for you. So if somebody comes in and says Elder Rufus 121, that's a vote that we will tally to you. If somebody comes in and says, yo, Casual smoked him, he swept him, he'll get that vote. These votes will not only be today, it won't only be the live vote, it will be a vote that consistently goes through and through. So y'all be sure, if you're watching right now, comment on the video and let us know who won this round. The vote only counts if you comment. What's up, fellas? How we feeling?
Good. I like that.
That was a good warm-up.
Captain did pretty good.
Yeah, I don't do debates, so I'm pretty new to this format.
You gave a lot of your opinions.
Yeah, debates isn't something I usually do. So, hey, this is week 1 of the season. This is week 1.
We're gonna get better. We'll get better.
This is week 1 of the season. I've seen teams get blown out week 1 season.
Yeah, that's a fact.
And he ends up winning the Super Bowl. So we'll see.
All right, y'all. We got 20 more seconds. Go get your votes in before we go ahead and close this poll. As of right now, Casual, you are down on the poll right now. Elder Rufus has 66% and Casual has 34%. So the live chat is rocking with Elder right now. Once again, this isn't the end-all be-all. These votes will continue to tally until the end of the season. All right. Now we are here. Topic 2. Our second topic of the day for Elder Rufus versus Casual is 1995 Houston Rockets versus the 2016 Golden State Warriors. Which one of these teams would win in a 7-game series? This is a good one, y'all. I've been waiting for this one. This is a good one. Casual, it is on you to go first. And you have the 2016 Golden State Warriors. You ready to rock and roll?
Okay. So the question that you said in the chat, not ready, but the question you said in the chat said who was better, the 2010 Warriors or the 90s Rockets? So is it just the 2016 Warriors?
Yeah, we're gonna go.
That's what I saw, Ron. The 2016 Warriors and the 1995 Rockets. I saw that. I didn't see what you just said.
It's 2016. We can't really add KD into this. I think.
Oh no, it's cool.
I got you. You good with that?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Let's make it happen. 2016 Warriors, 1995 Rockets. It's on you, Casual.
I know what he's going to do. And I know that he's instantly going to point out that this team in 2016, you see the poster over my right shoulder. It's the Cleveland Cavaliers won that championship. I know. This team blew a 3-1 lead. I'm not going to ignore that. But what I am going to do is talk about the collection of talent, because you know who they blew the 3-1 lead to? Probably the only man in history that could ever come back from that 3-1 lead. And that's LeBron James. Let's focus on the team itself and what it did throughout the totality of the year. This team won 73 games. Elder, when you go to your talking point, tell me how many teams have won 73 games in NBA history. Actually, you don't have to answer that. It's been none. More than MJ's Bulls, that 96 Bulls team with who some people say is the greatest team of all time, with the greatest player, with all NBA guys, with Hall of Famers everywhere. That Warriors team won more games. That Warriors team is also extremely resilient. They also came back down 3-1 against a really good Thunder team with 2 All-NBA, 2 MVP candidates in Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. But this is a team that has all-time collection of talent, more than the Houston Rockets, which I would get to in my next point. But you're talking about a team with 3 All-NBA guys. Not 1, not 2, not 3. An MVP. This is pretty much a super team. An MVP in his prime in Stephen Curry, one of the 10 greatest players to ever play the game, one of the greatest shooters ever in Klay Thompson, who was All-NBA and a Defensive Player of the Year All-NBA guy in Draymond Green. It's one of the greatest collections of talent we've ever seen.
Elder, it's on you. Round 1 for you. You got the 1995 Rockets. Talk to us.
All right, I'm going to just stick with facts. The facts is the team did win 73 games, and it didn't mean nothing because we play to win. The goal of playing is to win the championship. So winning 73 games in the regular season means absolutely nothing if you can't close the deal. Now we're dealing with facts. The Thunder had their number. If they didn't have to deal with a selfish point guard in Russell Westbrook, who literally shot his own team out of going to the finals, they would have been nothing to talk about because they wouldn't even made it to the finals. That team that Kevin Durant was on should have made it to the finals, but Russell Westbrook blew that. These are just facts. Now, when it comes to this Rockets team, what I'll say about this team is this. With Olajuwon and Drexel, when they finally got him, you got two guys here in the playoffs putting up 55 points a game pretty much, bro. And they were so impossible just to beat because the way the teams were built back in the 90s, you had to have a team solid enough to beat Jordan. Remember, Jordan was running the 90s. So teams were building their teams to stop Jordan and Pippen, to stop these wings. And Houston had done a really good job of putting together a good, solid team with young and old guys. If you look at their roster, they had a good mix. And these guys were all specialists. They had their scorers in those two dudes. They had their big-time shot makers from the outside. But the rest, typically defensively, to shut down teams like the Bulls. They would have shut Golden State down on a heartbeat.
All right, we off to a hot start. Hey, we smoking round one. We smoking. All right, Casual, the time's back on you. You got 1 minute and 30 seconds to rebuttal Elder Rufus. Your time starts now.
You can't say this team was built to shut down the Chicago Bulls when they didn't even face the Chicago Bulls in both the playoffs and they won the 2 championships. MJ wasn't really in the league, so I don't know if they were built to beat them. But, you can say this team would have shut down the Warriors. You have no chance in hell of knowing that because no team prior to 2016 ever saw a team constructed like the Golden State Warriors with all their off-ball movement, with the way Clay and Steph, the Splash Bros. Was there a Splash Bros in 1994 who can shoot from the logo? I don't think so. I don't think you were picking up these guys off screens at half court. That didn't happen back in the 90s. I'm not saying now listen, the 95 Rockets are a damn good team. They are a really good team. Good defense. They have Clyde, who was also, I believe, all NBA third team that year. And he's a really good team. But it's just an unfair matchup because if they go on the same court, if this is a head-to-head series, give it like 5 games. They had good shooters, but they just weren't built to see the Warriors because no one at the time sees the Warriors. Those athletes would have a field day. They would not even know how to guard Stephen Curry, how to get these screens with Klay Thompson. They would have no idea. They would have no idea seeing a defensive player like Draymond at his size and his strength and what he can do versatile. They have a finals MVP off the bench. 3 All-NBA guys, MVP, shooters, and a finals MVP on the bench, and they're proven champions.
All right, Casual sound like he's cooking up. He's starting to warm up, Elder. He's starting to warm up. Elder, round 2, it's on you, 1 minute and 30. Your time starts when you do.
The only problem with Casual's takes is that the Casual in there are just opinions. They're not really basing them on facts. At the end of the day, this team was built to beat the Bulls because the Bulls dominated the first part of the 90s. Nobody knew Jordan was going to retire the way he did or get put out the league. We'll talk about that later. They didn't know that was going to happen. So teams had to gear up to deal with their wings. This team was good at that. And they had to gear up to have guards that can handle their shooters like Craig Hodges, like, what's his name? Steve Kerr. These kind of guys, this team always had these type of dudes around. So teams start building their teams to stop this type of stuff. Golden State would have got eaten for lunch. When you got guys like Sam Cassell and Kenny Smith hawking Curry all the way up and down the court, when you got, they called him Glide for a reason. Clyde the Glide, he would have been all over Clay. And these guys were all defensive-minded guys. They would have made it very, very hard for them. And here's the biggest thing. What would the Warriors done defensively? Nobody there would have been able to even come close to stopping Clyde. And Olajuwon, the league MVP, we ain't talking about finals, he was that too, but we talking about the league MVP. Putting up 33 and 11 on people's head, dominating guys like Shaq in the finals. Are you serious? Now, he was young, but Shaq was still considered a dominant defensive force. And he made that young man look like a fool. Literally, it was embarrassing watching it. They wouldn't have had anyone to even come close to guarding Hakeem. They'd have destroyed that team.
All right, here we go. We're getting into the last round. It is round 3 of topic 2. 2016 Warriors versus the 95 Rockets. It's back on you, Casual. Do your thing.
Well, I thought this was player choice debate, not player's choice comedy night. He said Kenny Smith is going to step to Steph Curry. I've seen all defensive guys struggle with Steph Curry. All defensive wings, guards, not even knowing to get over a screen against Steph Curry. And Kenny the Jet Smith is going to get in Curry's face when Curry's all the way at the logo. Again, you said they were built to beat the 90s. You said I don't say facts. And then you say the Rockets were built to beat MJ. Well, I think that's just your opinion, because how can you know a team was built to beat a team when they didn't even play the damn team in the playoffs when it mattered the most? And there's no way that this team could dog walk a team that they've never seen play like that before. It would catch them by surprise. Now, Akeem's going to get his. Akeem Olajuwon is one of the greatest players to ever play the game. He's going to get his. But I saw this Warriors team win the NBA Finals and LeBron's averaging like 40 a game. Just because one guy is going for 30 points, what about the others? You keep bringing up Clyde. You're saying they can't guard Clyde. You're acting like Clyde is like 92 MJ. This is 1995 Clyde when he's barely on. He's 20 points per game in the playoffs. I think Klay Thompson, who was all defense that year and all defense during that dynasty, can do a pretty good job checking Clyde Drexler. No one's scared of a 20-point per game score. How about can Clyde check Klay Thompson when Klay Thompson's coming off a pin down and shooting in his face? Something that they never seen. Again, I just think it's an unfair matchup where it's a team in the Golden State Warriors that even caught modern day teams off surprise. Teams today still can't figure out the Warriors.
All right, y'all. That was heat. Chat, talk to me. Let me know how you feeling. We're going to go ahead and run this poll right now. Go ahead and throw the timer on the screen, throw the poll up, and I want to see how you guys.
I don't get the rebuttal.
He's got to go again.
Yeah, I got to go again.
Oh,
because I went first.
He went first.
Oh, yeah, Elder's got to go again.
Yeah,
I got to go again.
All right, Elder, it's back on you. Round 3, you get your final rebuttal. Let's go ahead and get into it. It's your last rebuttal.
Let's get to it. Saying that they ain't never seen a pin down, that's not. I don't even know how to respond to something like that, man. The pin down's been in basketball for 60 years, so stop it. I'm telling you right now. Teams now are doing what? They're getting bigger. Why? Because Jokic came in and started dominating everybody in the inside. So teams are wanting centers again. They got away from them before Jokic started dominating. They're getting them back now. A lot of teams ain't never played Jokic, but they're still getting their team ready. So if they do face him and he makes it to the finals, they'll be prepared. So to sit here and say just because they didn't play him, they wasn't preparing, yeah, they were. The Bulls dominated the early part of the 90s, the first 3 years of it. So those teams, a lot of the teams in the league were already gearing it up. At the end of the day, it would depend on what style of basketball we had to play. Because I can tell you're coming from the new age style of basketball where you don't have to play defense. Let's just keep it above. This new guy that runs the NBA, you don't get to touch guys defensively. You can't be aggressive defensively. You can't hand check defensively. And then guys are allowed to carry and palm the ball. See, when we played, you had to have your hand over the ball. You couldn't go on the side underneath all that. You couldn't do that. And you couldn't take 27 steps this way and that way to take shots. All that stuff was not part of our game. So I guess it would depend on which game we playing. Now, we playing this new age game, those guys in 95 will need time to adjust. But if they playing old school, real true basketball where both sides can be aggressive, that team would destroy them because they're stronger, bigger, faster, and they have nobody that can guard them. And don't forget, 20 points back then, that was a lot because you only scored 100 a game.
All right. Y'all heard it here first. That was topic 2, and that was heat. Y'all outdid yourself the first topic. Second topic, that was fire. We're going to go ahead and put up the poll for you guys to vote. Elder Rufus had the 95 Rockets. Casual had the 2016 Warriors. Chat, go hit the poll. Talk to me. Let me know who won. Keep talking to me in the comments too, y'all. Hey, y'all doing your thing. Make sure you like the video. Y'all already know the drill. In between this time right now, while we waiting for y'all to vote, I got a couple super chats. I'm going to just go ahead and read these off while we waiting. Daniel Berry Sports Highlight said, happy Wednesday, everyone. That's a fact. Happy Wednesday. You fellas having a good Wednesday?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
Sir.
All right. J. Dot also shot through a super chat. He said, y'all might have cooked with this idea. Dub PC, Dub Host, Dub PCL, Dub Elder Rufus, Dub Casual. All right. Appreciate y'all for shooting that through. All right, we got 40 more seconds left. Y'all go ahead, hit the like button, and go ahead and vote on the poll. Remember, we aren't voting based on who you like. It's a criteria, y'all. Who gave you the most stats? Who gave you the most facts? Who had the best and most compelling case? Who supported the stats and numbers that they threw out there? Who had the best rebuttals? That's my thing is, hey, can you rebuttal something that I just threw at you? Who was able to switch up on the fly? Things of that nature. I see we got more people coming in here. Welcome. It's hot right now. Hey, the room heating up. All right. While you guys are closing up your votes and getting them in, let's get to the third topic. Third topic. Who had the bigger impact on the game? The game meaning the NBA. The game meaning the culture. The game meaning the way that the game was played, the style of play, all of that stuff. Who had their thumbprint on the NBA more? Allen Iverson or Stephen Curry? Y'all ready to get into this, fellas? All right. Elder, it's back on you.
Let's get it.
You have Allen Iverson.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
All right. Allen Iverson would probably be the #1 player in this culture, in this generation. I mean, the things that he's doing and what he did back then. I mean, like he was the main one coming with all the tats. He was the main one came with the cornrows. He was the main one that had to kind of do what you want to do attitude. Even though, like off the court, he really wasn't causing no issues and problems. Like he wasn't staying in court and jail and all this kind of crazy stuff. But he was just free. And then he was such a dog. You know what I mean? He was just a dog out there. He was the one that brought out people appreciating high volume scores that didn't automatically be very efficient. You see what I'm saying? Because the games before him, guys cared about their efficiency. Guys, if you're a guard, you should be able to shoot 45 to 48, 49%. Iverson blew that all out the water with his heart. And Iverson just was a dog, and he really didn't care what other people said. Now, he wasn't a very dishonorable, disrespectful dude, but I'm talking about his dress changed the culture, his style with the cornrows, the tats, all that stuff. His shoes were revolutionary. I had all of his shoes. I still got some of his shoes. The Reebok Answer, I mean, with the honeycombs. I mean, the brother just changed everything about the way you look at the NBA players. But at the same time, let guys be free because back then they would put you in this corporate mantra and hey, come in with a certain time about even though I'm playing basketball. I was like, no, funk that. This is who I am. I'm coming to the gym. I'm coming with big baggy sweatpants. I'm doing this. And I just think he had more impact culturally.
All right. Elder just put y'all on notice with Allen Iverson. Casual, you have Steph Curry next. Your time starts when you do.
I want to start by saying this. Mr. Elder made some really good points. Allen Iverson is very influential. But Ron asked the question, who was more influential for the game? The game we play is basketball. I do agree that Allen Iverson is influential, that he influenced many players. He influenced the culture. But Steph influenced the game itself. Basketball. He influenced how we play from when we start in elementary school to the days our knees blow out at 50 years old at LA Fitness. Steph changed how we played the entire game. And this is coming from a guy who grew up playing basketball, started playing basketball right when Steph Curry blew up. I saw the game flash in front of my very eyes. One day, everyone's in the gym shooting layups, post-ups, elbow jumpers. The next day, I'm at basketball camp. I walk in, instead of doing the normal layup lines, it's everyone shooting 35-footers. That was Steph Curry. The reason why Steph Curry has more impact on the game itself, because he strategically changed the game, how we play basketball, how we match up against teams, how people play. Allen Iverson influenced how some players play. He influenced culture, and you see the culture angle. But when we talk about basketball, from the day you first play at elementary school, all around the globe, in Japan, in Europe, in the United States, how we strategically play basketball changed more with Stephen Curry.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. That was our best back and forth yet. We'll see if y'all can top it. We got round 2 of topic 3. Elder Rufus, it is on you.
All right. We would say we're talking about NBA basketball, right? I will ask this simple question. Is it a game first or is it a business first? and I'll pause for a few seconds to let y'all all think. The game becomes irrelevant if you don't manage the business. If it's a business first, which it is, money matters. If money matters, culture matters. Allen Iverson affected everybody around the world with what he's doing. People are still dressing and tatting up and corn rolling. I mean, I looked at all the people in the draft this year. Look how many guys got cornrows in their head, braids in their head now. Back in those days, nobody did. Iverson started all that. So he's had a major impact on the game. Even playing on court, like I said, he was the first guy that we accepted being inefficient, but an incredible scorer. Why? Because he led the league in scoring, what, 4 times, something like that? Led the league in steals 3 times. I mean, Allen Iverson was just a flat-out dog who would go get it and wasn't afraid of nothing, being 5'11" and going in dunking on 7-footers. I mean, this dude changed the mindset of players, letting them know when he took teams that you probably can't remember 1 or 2 guys that even played on that team that he led to the championship. But he led them to the championship. He lost to the mighty Lakers and Kobe and Shaq. But that team, nobody should have led that team. But he let everybody believe you can. You can. This is how he changed the mindset of people when it comes to basketball and how people perceive you in business and in pleasure.
All right, there you have it. Elder Rufus, round 2 just concluded. Casual is back on you for round 2. Your time starts when you do.
We're talking about who was more impactful in changing the game, not who was more impactful in driving people to the barbershop or a tattoo parlor. The game itself. Basketball is a global sport where basketball is played everywhere. The reason why I don't want to downplay Allen Iverson's impact, but the reason why Allen Iverson is not more impactful than Stephen Curry is because not everyone can be Allen Iverson. Not everyone can subscribe to Allen Iverson's culture. Not everyone is a 6-foot guard who equipped and was allowed to dribble like Allen Iverson. Because you haven't even brought up Allen Iverson's handle and his dribbling. Not everyone is allowed to do that at their size because they're not a 6-foot small guard. But everyone can shoot in 2024. Actually, if you can't shoot in 2024, you're unemployed. You're unplayable in many spots, big spots that wins games. If you can't dribble, I've never heard someone if you can't do an Allen Iverson size up, or if you don't have tattoos, you're unplayable. You can't shoot, you're unplayable. And that's because Steph Curry changed how we valued the 3-point shot. Steph Curry changed the game. And you're talking about Allen Iverson's, his game went to an NBA Finals. Yes, he did that. Steph Curry's game won the NBA Finals. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times. And in 2022, he showed you that even today, if you go under a screen, you cannot do that in 2022, or he's going to shoot over the top of you.
All right. Here we go, fellas. Here we go. We got one more round. Elder Rufus, it is round 3. Take it away whenever you're ready.
All right. I don't want to bash Steph Curry because I do believe he had an incredible thing. And that's actually why I gave it to you, because I believe that you could easily defend him in this. But I could also make a case of how Steph Curry's play has actually hurt the NBA, because we're looking at things going in a entertainment fashion more than anything, which again, now we're back to the game of basketball being a business first. You cannot have the game without the business first. And Steph Curry has been good for business because guys want to see the flashy handles and the layup packages, and they want to, because Steph Curry got all that. They want to see the long bomb threes and all that. But most guys don't work on the real skills of the game. They don't work on their basketball IQ. They don't even work on a basic, like most guards today don't even know how to throw the ball into the post to a guy. They forget about the basics of the game that make you a really good player. So that looks really, really good for Steph Curry. But how many other guys is going to be able to get away with that and actually win championships? He's an anomaly. And I'm agreeing that he has changed the game. But I look at a lot of stuff going on in the game today, and Steph Curry's style, what people are trying to mimic, which not many can at all, is hurting them. Look at it. I'll give you a good example. Look at a guy like Trae Young. Is he not a Steph Curry type style player? Same type of stuff going on, right? Why do they not respect him? Why is this man averaging 28 points, 11 assists a year, and they don't even want to put him in an all-star game? They won't even think about him for the Olympic Games because he doesn't win. Man, I wish I had more time. I have more, but it's good.
We can go round 4. Y'all want to go round 4?
I mean, it's up to him, but
we got to conclude it. All right, y'all. We about to put the poll up. It was a good bet.
No, he got one more. I started this.
My bad.
He got
y'all.
one more.
I'm tripping today. It's been a long day, y'all. We had the panel earlier today. Well, I don't got time to get into all of that. Casual, it's on you. Round 3.
I won't take that much time.
Topic 3.
But
do your thing. Your time starts when you do.
I understand where you're getting at about like the Steph model, like that Trae Young, like Steph model. Steph is an anomaly. I do agree to an extent. I don't think there will never be a 1-for-1 copycat of Steph to do what he did, win those championships, someone who can shoot at the exact same level. I don't think someone will ever be able to replicate Steph. What I meant by shooting, it's like, I'm not saying everyone's going to play like Steph, but what Steph did, now you can make an argument that maybe the NBA was already it was already gearing towards the movement, but Steph was at the forefront of the 3-point movement. The threes are better than twos movement. I'm not exactly arguing that Steph was more influential. Now everyone wants to play like Steph, which is kind of true, but shooting got valued way more, not just in the NBA, because your influence on Allen Iverson is more on the NBA. I'm talking globally around the world. No matter who you are, no matter who your culture is, shooting is valued more today because of Steph Curry. Today in basketball, if your team cannot shoot, if your team cannot win 3-point battles, you're cooked. If your team cannot space the floor and shoot threes, volume threes, I'm talking about since Steph came in the league, threes are going from like what, barely 20 a game to like 40 for like a lot of these teams now, like the Boston Celtics. If you can't shoot threes at like a 30 to 40% of volume, like attempt volume, you're done. That's just not enough threes. Steph Curry made the game realize that threes are better than twos, and you better get those threes up. It's not exactly about playing like Steph. It's how he changed how we view the 3-pointer.
All right, y'all. All right. That was fire.
Good stuff.
I ain't gonna lie. That was heat. And each round got better and better. Appreciate y'all for coming up here and cooking up. Y'all really did y'all thing for the very first battle of PCL. Go ahead and throw this voting up. Y'all got 1 minute and 30 to vote on the polls. Talk to me. Let me know who won round 3. Why you guys doing that? This was the very first round if you got in here late, or the very first matchup if you got in here late. Elder Rufus versus Casual. Next up, right after this, we got OGDABEAST. A lot of y'all might not know him, but the name speaks for itself. His name is OGDABEAST. He really one of them ones in his basketball community. If you don't know, you either been under a rock or you just not tapped in like that. But it's OGDABEAST versus somebody who y'all see every day here on the panel. He comes up here and cooks. He got his own show, and he got his own takes in his own style. My man Big Ox Bob and OGDABEAST will come up next, and that's going to be one. Hey, y'all know, and that's going to be a heavyweight matchup right there. Just like this one was right here. Y'all go ahead and vote. As of right now, Casual is taking round 3. He got 73% of the votes. Y'all go ahead and continue to vote. We got about 30 seconds left. I do want to let you guys know once again that the votes only count if you come back and comment on the video who you think won. So everybody that's watching live, after this, what I need you guys to do is first like the video and then go and comment who won each round or who won the battle. So you can say Elder won 2-0 or 2-1. You can say Casual won by a sweep. You could say it was 1-1, but I got to give the edge to Elder. However you want to do it, but you guys make sure that after the battle you vote, and we will tally up all of that leading all the way up through the regular season. So we won't tally it up until the final matchup of week 4 of the regular season, and whoever wins, that's who we'll give it to, and that's how we'll determine who battles who in the playoffs. While you guys are up here, I just want to put one more thing on the screen because these two are in a division. So I want to go ahead and show you guys the division just so we can see who it is that you guys will be battling.
Okay. Yo, what up, chat? Yo, shout out to Elder.
Hey,
good
shout
debate.
Out to Casual. That was good, man.
Good debate.
I like that.
Good debate. I don't like debating. I don't like debating, but
I'm not a big debater either.
I'm not a big debater.
You know, it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. That was good.
Our host left. What you guys think of the debate, chat? Comments, vote, poll. What you guys think? They're just leaving us here alone. What is this? They're asking
Yeah.
for a rematch. What is this?
I can't. Can you see the chat room?
It's on
I can't see
the
it. No,
it's
I
on
can't
the
see
it's
it.
on the
I'm on
it's on the
my phone.
StreamYard thing. If you if it's
is it?
under,
I'm on my phone. I didn't
I
want to
don't know.
get
I'm on
it.
my computer on the
Oh, there it
StreamYard.
is.
You can
Okay,
see
now I can
comment.
see it. Now I can
Yeah.
see it. Like they said, good debate, good. Some people, I saw 2-1 casual. Somebody said L host.
We're
They like you,
Yeah,
Ron.
we
They
got a
mad at
super
you,
chat
Ron.
His
from
left
But
is
drop
up
it
here.
out, bro.
His left is up here.
Hey man, technical difficulties happen sometimes, but I'm back up here. My man JJWAD said L host. Hey man, if the
You
shoe
got
fits,
it,
I'll
huh?
put it on. Hey, if the suit fits, I'll put it on to make it look good. But all right, appreciate you guys for coming up and cooking up. Let me still throw up you guys' division
Shalom.
just so the people can see. You guys are Group 3, and this is Group 3 as currently stands. You got OG the Beast, who's going next against Big Ox Bob. And then you got Elder Rufus and Casual. This group will always be on Wednesdays. So you will come up and see these guys. It will be familiar faces.
Hey, that's the AFC North right there, bro. That's like 4 Super Bowl teams right up there.
And with that, yeah.
That's comp
With
division.
that.
All right. Well, appreciate you guys for coming through. We're going to go ahead and get to the next battle. Y'all came and held it down for the first one. We'll catch you guys again next week.
All right, thank you. Thank you, W host.
Cool.
Thank you, Elder.
All right.
Salute.
Y'all heard that. Yo, that was smooth for real. That was smooth. All right, man. Fresh off the transition screen, y'all just got the first battle of PCL. It was Elder Rufus versus Casual. They came and heated the room up right quick. They got us off to a good start. Now we're moving on to the next battle. I can't wait for this one. This is one that I had circled on my calendar for the whole PCL. This is one of my favorite battles. Like I said, this is 2 heavyweights. I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to get these guys up here. I'm going to let them do what they do best. First, I'm going to bring up a face that you guys haven't really seen much on here. It's been a while since he's been on the platform, but he's here in PCL. Let me bring up my man, OG the Beast. What's going on, man?
What's going on, my man, Ron? How you feeling? Everybody hear me loud and clear? I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope we
man.
coming in clear and crispy.
Yeah, you sound smooth right now. You sound like you're ready to get a win.
Yes, sir. It's been a little while. But I'm here now.
Yeah.
I'm here now.
Okay. Hey, man, happy to have you join.
Appreciate it, man. I'm glad to be here, man.
All right, let's get into it. Here go Big Ox.
You look ready.
What's that? You got the glove?
He looked ready. Ready.
I told y'all this is a heavyweight bout. See, hey, I knew it. All right, man. With no further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into it. It's time to get into the second matchup of the day, OG the Beast and Big Ox Bob. You guys have 3 topics, with the first topic being Tim Duncan versus Kevin Garnett. You guys got 1 minute and 30 seconds each. Big Ox, I'm going to start off with you. You're going to start round 1. Topic 1. OG the Beast, you're going to go first. Topic 2. Topic 3, it's going to be back on you, Big Ox. Chat, y'all already know what to do.
What's topic 2?
Topic two, we got the best young core. OG the Beast, you got the Thunder. Big Ox, you got the Grizzlies. Which core is the best young core as currently stands? And then topic three, since we already talked about 1 and 2, it will be who's the better scorer, Tracy McGrady or James Harden, both in their primes. All right, but as of right now, we got Tim Duncan and we got Kevin Garnett. Big Ox, you got Tim Duncan. OG the Beast, you got Kevin Garnett. Let's get into it. Big Ox, your time starts when you do.
Okay, no doubt. So we all know that the late 90s to the mid 90s to about the late 2000s was hell for the power forwards, hell for the big men. It was hell on the block. We had guys like C. Webb, Rasheed, Shaq, Dirk, obviously Tim Duncan, and Kevin Garnett, who we are talking about. I want to run down some stats. We're going to start off with some stats for y'all. Against C. Webb, Tim Duncan played him 25 times, won those matchups to 16-9. Against Rasheed, they played 49 times. Tim Duncan won those matchups 21-17 in the regular season, 8-3 in the playoffs, averaging 19-12. The only person that Tim Duncan and these guys lost to in the regular season matchups was Shaquille O'Neal, and that was 14-18, but 15-15 in the playoffs. He still averaged 24 and 12.5 rebounds. Now, against Dirk, who they played 90 games, Dirk and Tim Duncan played 90 games. He went 33-22 in the regular season, 18-15 in the playoffs. Where in the playoffs, we seen Dirk dominate KG in 2002. We all saw that. You can't pretend like you didn't. Against Dirk, Tim Duncan averaged 21-11. And against KG, let's talk about that matchup. They played 52 games against each other, where Tim Duncan went 33-19 in the regular season and 6-2 in the playoffs, averaging 19.3 points and 12 rebounds against KG. You know what I'm saying? That's not fair. That obviously shows who's dominant.
All right. Big Ox just took it off. He came through. OG the Beast is on you. Topic 1, round 1. Time starts when you do.
Well, to be honest with you, we all know who on the hierarchy we talking about power forwards. We got to go Tim Duncan strictly because of the accolades. But if we talking about straight basketball, I have to go with KG, right? KG was better from mid-range. He was a better defender, arguably, because of the Defensive Player of the Year. Tim Duncan obviously does not have one. So if you want to make a legitimate case for Tim Duncan to be a better defender, I think we could split hairs with that. But if we look at the situation, that's something I want to point the finger at, right? Like I said, coming into the situation, Tim Duncan is obviously higher on the hierarchy simply because of the accolades and what he accomplished, you know, not even statistically, just what he accomplished accolades wise. So if we were to put Kevin Garnett in that situation, who's to say that he wouldn't be just as good, if not better, considering he's actually the better basketball player, right? Better from mid-range, better from three, better playmaker than Tim Duncan could ever dream about being. Pretty much every aspect. And we're talking about a guy who spent 14 years with a bad organization whose number 2, number 3 option was Wally Zerbiak and Latrell Sprewell. One-time All-Star for Latrell Sprewell with that organization, one-time All-Star for Sam Cassell. That was his second and third option during his tenure in Minnesota. Still managed to get them to a Western Conference Finals and still managed to win an MVP in that situation. The moment he got a top 75 player in Paul Pierce, we saw what happened. Kevin Garnett instantly, immediately out the gate was an NBA champion. Arguably could have won Finals MVP at that. Give me KG all day long.
All right, y'all. First round, they cooking up. We're going to go ahead and get into the second round. Big Ox, it's on you, and your time starts whenever you choose to.
Well, first of all, respect Wally Zerbiak, and for damn sure respect Latrell Sprewell. But I'm happy you said let's talk ball. We got the stats out the way. Let's get to it, okay? I know for a fact OG the Beast is going to try to convince y'all that we're supposed to cut KG some slack because he came in a baby, because he didn't go to college. That's his problem, not Tim Duncan's. Tim Duncan came ready to ball, stepped in the NBA, a grown man, 21, 12, and 2.5 blocks. That's his rookie season. Took the team to the second round in the playoffs. They beat the Suns the first round and lost to the Jazz in the second round, a team that would end up going to the finals and losing against the Bulls. Next year, he came back and there was no sophomore slump. He repeated the same stats, came back with it. And you know what he did that year? Y'all already know, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Beat KG and the Wolves in the first round 3-1. Swept swept Kobe and Shaq the next round, and then went on to sweep Rashid and the Portland Trailblazers the next round. Then went against the Knicks against Latrell Sprewell, Marcus Camby, Kurt Thomas, Chris Dudley, all these guys, and won the championship his sophomore year. Not only did he win the championship, but then he got finals MVP his second year. No excuses for coming out of high school. If you hear, you get down with the men. He came in ready to ball, had a complete bag already, all the moves and everything. We're going to get into that round 3. Let's do some hoop talk for sure.
We talking hoops now. OG the Beast. I know this is what you do fluently. It's on you, my man. Round 2.
I mean, well, since we're talking about hoops, I mean, we could sit here and talk about Tim Duncan's career as a whole and in general. I noticed how you mentioned the beginning and the middle stages of his career, because Tim Duncan was pretty pedestrian towards the back end or the second half of his career, even while still being in his prime. Not to mention that he conceded a finals MVP to a top 75 teammate, which only happened one other time in NBA history. Let's be honest here. Averaging 18 and 10 as a top 10 player of all time is purely pedestrian. You cannot name me another top 10 player of all time who had the luxury to be able to average 18 and 10 on a 50-plus win team, and still manage to get yourself to the Western Conference Finals and beyond. You cannot name one. Kobe, LeBron, Jordan, all these guys had to be those guys in that situation in order to thrive. Tim Duncan was more of a product of a system and a scheme in place by Popovich, one of the greatest coaches of all time. He was not really a dominant basketball player for a long stretch of duration of his career. Let's keep it a bean here. 18 and 10 is not going to do the cut. He never averaged 20 points per game outside of the 2007 season and beyond, since he played in the National Basketball Association, right? Kevin Garnett did not have that luxury. He had to be a dog night in and night out. And the minute you pair him with another top 75 player, we saw what happened. NBA champion, defensive player of the year. He was able to be the focal point and the defensive anchor of a championship team, and could have won multiples had it not been for injuries. So let's keep it a buck. Tim Duncan was a product of a system, and Kevin Garnett was a product of being a dog. Point blank, period.
Hey, man, I told y'all. I tried to tell y'all. All right, we got round 3. It's on you, Ox. Time starts when you do.
Man, like I said, we're going to get into some more of that bag talk, but you just said that Tim Duncan was pedestrian, a man that came into the league and never missed the playoffs, went to the playoffs every single year of his career, 15-time All-Defense, 15-time All-NBA, 15 All-Star games, Rookie of the Year, 3 times Finals MVP, 2 times MVP, and 5 rings, and you called that man pedestrian? The disrespect is crazy. I expect more from you, OG the Beast. I expect more from you. Now let's get back to the bag talk. I'm talking about somebody who had a whole career where people said, "Oh, it's boring." But I only think that's people that didn't watch Tim Duncan. Somebody that was quick. I'm talking about 6'11", 250 pounds, a lightning quick first step. Y'all think he's unathletic, but he came into the league catching bodies, right hand, left hand. A guy that can take a smaller guy down on the block, turn over the right shoulder, turn over the left shoulder. I'm not talking about a drop step, which is more of a reverse pivot. I'm talking about a spin move, a front pivot. He's so strong that when he spins off of that, guys are just stuck watching him dunk on their teammates. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Tim Duncan, a guy that came out knocking down 19-footers, knocking down 17-footers. I know OG the Beast. I know you're going to tell him that KG had guard handles, but did y'all ever see Tim Duncan open up 20 feet from the rim, take 2 dribbles right, cross, and go and dunk the basketball? I'm talking about a 6'11" dude with a 1-count pull-up. He made people want to use the bank shot. You talking about pedestrian? Are you crazy?
All right, I had to mute you. Oh, OG, you done turned them up. All right, OG, it's on you. Round 3 of topic 1. Y'all, we still got 2 more topics to go after this, but OG, your round 3 starts right now.
You damn right I called him pedestrian. I didn't call the front half of his career pedestrian because Tim Duncan, in my opinion, is a top 10 player of all time. But if you pay attention and look at the back end of his career, he was able to win championships, able to win 50-plus games in a Western Conference, a tough Western Conference, might I add, while being not carried by his teammates, but affiliated with a group of guys that was collectively used as a unit, a scheme put in place by Greg Popovich that worked. I'm not going to say without Tim Duncan because we definitely needed him, but let's just be honest, right? And Kobe Bryant, for example, 2009 had Pau Gasol with him. Kobe averaged 25 a night in the NBA Finals. Pau Gasol averaged 18 and 11. Kobe walked away with the Finals MVP. Tim Duncan, on the other hand, in 2007 against the woeful Cavaliers led by LeBron James, right? Go look at what Tim Duncan averaged in that NBA Finals. The same thing Pau Gasol averaged, 18 and 11. Those were second option numbers for Kobe Bryant, right? While Tony Parker averaged 25, 5, and 5 and walked away with the Finals MVP. Is Tony Parker a top 75 player in the league of all time? No, he is not. Tony Parker is a perennial all-star and a future Hall of Famer, right? Which is the luxury that Tim Duncan had to have on his squad. But who in the top 10 can you name can average 18 points, 10 or 11 rebounds, and still walk away with an NBA championship and claim to be the best player on their team? Give me Kevin Garnett, and I don't think there's any doubt about it when it comes to shooting his basketball inside of the hoop. Let's be honest here.
Woo! Hey, that's a round. That's how you debate. That's how you come up here and go toe-to-toe, mano y mano. Go ahead and run the poll right now. You guys let me know who you are taking. OG the Beast with Kevin Garnett or Big Ox with Tim Duncan. Wow. Hey. Hey, that was it, y'all. That's what I'm talking about right there.
It was fun. It was fun. Good shit out.
Hell yeah. I like that. That was dope. Good shit.
All right. In case y'all don't know, we got another battle after this. We got Chilltown versus Haize. So y'all stick around for that. But as of right now, let me go ahead and introduce y'all to the second topic in case you didn't hear it in the beginning. We got the best young core right now as currently stands. We got the Oklahoma City Thunder, and then we got the Memphis Grizzlies. This should be a good one next. But before we get to that, we got 45 seconds left. Y'all go ahead and get to this poll and vote on who you think won. Make sure you like the video as well, and go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done that yet. Keep in mind, the live vote is cool and everything, but to those who aren't watching live, the real vote that matters is the vote that happens after this goes live. You guys let me know. If you got OG the Beast in the sweep, say I got OG 3-0. If you got Big Ox 2-1, say I got Big Ox 2-1. And those votes will be tallied all the way through the rest of the regular season. And the voting tally doesn't start, not even for this matchup, until we conclude week 4. So just remember that.
Okay. So we never gonna know who won this one until the end. Okay, I got you.
So it sound like.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. The poll just ended, and Big Ox, you took 65% of the votes to OG's 34%. So y'all were swayed by Big Ox. Good work. In the live show right now, you are up. But once again, like I said, vote afterwards. That's the real vote that matters. All right, here we go. We are back on topic 2. This topic, we got the Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Memphis Grizzlies. Who has the best young core? OG the Beast, you will be kicking this one off. Your time starts when you do.
Yeah, I got the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I don't even think it's close. Like, Memphis has a nice, solid foundation, I think, but when we talking about development and we talking about building a franchise in a winning situation, I'm never going to bet against Sam Presti. I think he's one of the greatest executives to this point, right? To me, the greatest executive died a few months back or last month, Jerry West, but Sam Presti is right next to him when it comes to it. If you look at what he did with the maturation of Oklahoma City when they transformed from the Supersonics with Kevin Garnett, putting Russell Westbrook together and the whole nine and going through the whole Kevin Garnett Kevin Durant leaving and having to rebuild again, retool again, getting a Paul George, that didn't work. So you trade Paul George and get pieces like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I think to be able to bring the groceries home, now the players and the coaches got to deal with the product that's on the court, and they got to cook it up. But Sam Presti has done an excellent job bringing the products on, or bringing the groceries home, right? Right now, you're looking at a team with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you got Chet Holmgren, you got Jalen Williams, you have Lou Dort, you got a lot of solid young pieces that they can move forward with. And the maturation and development of this team has always been top tier. I think maybe probably the best in the league. So when it comes to the player development, drafting, free agent acquisitions, and making the right trades and being in the right place at the right time, I'm never going to bet against Sam Presti, right? He's the best in the league, in my opinion, hands down.
All right, there you go. OG the Beast just concluded his first round. Big Ox, it is back on you. You got the Memphis Grizzlies. Your time starts now.
Okay, no doubt. Fair point with the executives. I think Taylor Jennings is a very good coach. I think he's good at developing players, and I've been seeing him do it for a while. But I want to talk more so about the players. When you say a young core, to me, I'm thinking 24 and under, maybe 25 and under, right? So the guys that are 24 and under on the Memphis Grizzlies are Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., Gigi, Scottie Pippen Jr., Zach Edey, Santi Aldama, and Jake LaVaria. I think personally, I can have a starting five out of that group with Scottie at the 1, Ja at the 2, Gigi, Triple J, and Zach Edey. I think that team would compete right there. And that's a 24 and under club, right? So let's talk about the two obvious guys right here that I named. The two obvious guys I named, Ja Morant and Triple J. Ja Morant, I think a lot of people forget who he is. I think a lot of people forget what he's coming with. Ja Morant could easily be an MVP candidate coming up this season. You know what I mean? And that's, remind you, 24 and under. Triple J has already got a defensive player of the year. He's improving. You know what I mean? He's shown everything he can do from guarding multiple positions. He needs to improve on his rebounding, no doubt. But other than that, he does everything. He shoot the ball, play great defense, spread the floor, and I think him and Zach Edey are going to play great together. Now go back to Ja Morant and remind y'all, this kid is 24 years old and could for sure be an MVP candidate this year.
All right, there you go. That is the conclusion of round 1. Here we go. We're getting back into round 2. OG the Beast is back on you. Talk to us.
You mentioned how Ja Morant is clearly an MVP candidate, but ask yourself this: who's more of an MVP candidate, Ja Morant or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? Ask yourself this: who do you trust more, Ja Morant or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? He's a better defender. To me, he's a better playmaker. Ja Morant may be more athletic, but to be honest with you, Shai is now entered the top 5 best basketball players in the world conversation. And who better to start your franchise with moving forward? Because the question is best young core. And I'm obviously assuming that we're talking about moving forward. If you take the big 3 from Memphis, you got Desmond Bane, you got Triple J, and you got Ja Morant. Then you take the big 3 from OKC. You got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You can go Lou Dort. You can go Jalen Williams here. I'll go Jalen Williams here. And then we got Chet Holmgren, right? Chet Holmgren last year was 16-8 on the year, and his rookie campaign derailed because of injuries. Should have been the year before last, but it was last year. We cool with that. I can see Chet averaging somewhere between 18 and 20 points, 8 to 10 rebounds a night. Then you got Jalen Williams, who emerged late in the season last year. He averaged 20 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists on the season, along with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who was up for league MVP, who averaged 36 and 5 last year on the campaign. This team is poised for greatness, and I don't see anybody that can stop them. They were a surprise team last year. Nobody's seen it come and finish number 1 in the Western Conference, the toughest conference in the National Basketball Association. Let's be honest here. If we're talking about young units, you got to be going with OKC.
Okay. Big Ox, it is back on you. You ready to rebuttal? Whenever you start, your time starts.
I mean, OG, that was a fire round, but the only thing is you're deceiving the people. We're talking about a young core. You know what I'm saying? How old is SGA? 27, 20, 26, 27? I mean, he's been in the league forever. You know what I mean? I'm talking about a young core. When I said young, y'all heard me. I said 24 and under. You talking about Lou Dort, SGA, Alex Caruso. These dudes is almost 30. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about guys that are going to be in the NBA for another 9 to 13 years. Maybe even together for another 5, 6, 7. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about dudes that's past that young stage. So I know you thought you had an easy one, but I'm not even thinking about SGA in this conversation. You know what I mean? So look, I know I've seen a lot of people like Jake LaVaria. I'm sorry, he's a 6'8" forward. He can shoot the ball. He shot it at 34% this year. He got his minutes increased when the Memphis Grizzlies decided we want to compete. That's another thing about the Grizzlies. They're gonna compete. They're young. They're hungry. He increased his scoring from 1 year from averaging 3 points. Now he averaged 11. You know what I'm saying? The kid is improving. 0.5 assists per game one season. Last season, almost 2. That's a big improvement for a guy playing up those type of minutes. Santi Aldama, same thing. He's been improving every step of the way. So these guys that when I brought them up, guys were like, who? Look, Santi Aldama is a 6'11" shooting stretch big, real athletic, real mobile, shoots at 35% from the three. These guys, these two guys, and don't forget Scottie Pippen Jr.
All right, here we go. We are heading into round 3 of this debate. You ready to go, OG?
Let's get it.
Time starts when you do.
Well, Ox, the reason why guys are saying who to the guys that you name it because those who's are completely irrelevant. Nobody cares about any of those guys that's going to be on the end of the bench. Maybe Scottie Pippen Jr. from a defensive aspect, but really, who cares? We want to know how many players does it really take to be in championship contention? How many great players on one squad do you need to be in championship contention, right? To catapult you to that top 5, top 3 best teams in the league status. You only need 2 or 3. LeBron James did it in 2020 with just him and Anthony Davis, right? And I'm telling you, the OKC Thunder right now have 3 legit ballers that will excel together. Sam Presti, I trust him to put the ingredients around these 3 players, or 4 if you count Lou Dort, who's also a young guy that can play defense and guard your best player on the perimeter, drop you down low, guard the best player in the post. I don't even care. Lou Dort just has that type of defensive paralysis. Now, we're talking about a guy in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. We're talking about Jalen Williams. We're talking about Chet Holmgren. These are 4 solid young pieces that it doesn't even matter who you put around them. They will develop and they will turn into championship caliber players. And the great thing about it is they're going to do it together. They're all young. So you want to say Shai 26, 27. Yes, that's still in your prime and that's still youth. The man averaged 30 points per game last year and he ain't going nowhere. He's only getting better. To tell me that he's not still young would be letting me know that he's stuck at the level that he's at right now. And I don't believe that to be the truth. I love the acquisition of Caruso. On the defensive end, look out for OKC next year.
All right. Here we go. Ox, this is your final rebuttal. This is round 3. Do your thing, my man.
OG, once again, you keep trying to deceive the people. These guys' minutes went up. Santi and Jake both played about 23 minutes a game last year when they decided that they wanted to compete. These aren't guys that are just stuck on the end of the bench. These dudes are putting in work. 23 minutes a game, is that not significant minutes? I think it is. That's what I'm saying. Stop trying to deceive the people. You threw in Alex Caruso's name. For what? Well, I thought we was talking about a young core. Dude's my age. So what are we talking about? On top of that, I'm looking at guys like G.G. Jackson, the youngest guy that we've talked about this whole time. You know what I'm saying? He's going to continue to get better. Zach Edey, this dude is 7'4". I know a lot of people thought he was going to be sorry coming out of Purdue, and I don't know why. All right, but then you say things like, who cares about these guys? That's what development was all about. I thought you was a fan of Sam Presti. We're supposed to develop these guys that are showing significant growth in the past 2 and 3 seasons. So for you to say that, it just shows me that you don't really care about the development. You're not looking at these youngsters as a real core. You're only looking at these stars, guys that are 27, 30, 28 years old. I'm talking about 24 and under. I look at guys like J-Dub, and yeah, he's great, but there's guys that you can replace for him in the league. Paolo, Franz, Jabari Smith, Keegan Murray, Herb Jones, J-Mac, and you can get the same thing. You can't do that with Zach Edey. Where else am I going to find another big 7'4", 22 years old, not 30 like Alex Caruso. I said 22 years old. Where can you find that?
All right, y'all. That was heat. Topic 2 was fire. We're going to go ahead and get to this voting right now. JD, my man, go ahead and throw that on the screen. While this is up here, you guys make sure to go and cast your live vote. Now, I know I said that the live voting doesn't matter. It does matter. All votes matter. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not being all inclusive. All votes matter. So make sure you get the live vote in and then vote after the video too, because those votes also do matter. So once again, if you aren't watching live, comment on the video afterwards. Say, OGDABEAST won 2 out of the 3 topics. I'm going with him. Or you can simply just say Ox won the battle. So we will tally these live votes. Those will go into the tally at the end of the whole regular season. We will tally the votes that are commented on this video. Those will go into account. And also, we'll be putting out clips too. People can vote on the clips as well. So it's going to be a lot of tallies that we get to come from. And you guys cook up. If you won, you won. If you didn't, you take an L. That's as simple as it is. But you guys make sure that you vote. as of right now, we got the poll up right now. It looks like OG the Beast is tipping the scale at this moment in time. He has 53% of the votes. We got about 30 more, 20 seconds left. Y'all be sure to get over there and vote. And also on top of that, once again, vote after the video.
Hey, OG, if you vote for me on the poll, I'll vote for you.
I don't even know how to do that.
All right, y'all, we wrapping it up right now. Wrapping it up. Okay, here we go. OG the Beast, you took round 2. You got 51% of the votes. Good work, my man. All right, here we go. We on to topic 3. Topic 3 of this battle is Tracy McGrady versus James Harden in their primes, at their peaks, the best version of themselves. Who is a better scorer? Big Ox, it's back to you. You kick it off. Your time starts right now.
Come on, man. Y'all already know what time it is with me. We're talking about James Harden versus Max Sauce. Come on, man. We're talking about a 6'9" monster. Dude, super athletic, super tall, super long, strong, crazy athleticism, crazy explosion. I'm talking about a 3-level scorer. A dude that can face up and take anybody off the dribble. Not just step back threes. That's not the only thing in his bag. Talking about play on the baseline, play on the block, play from the free throw line and out. I'm talking about a shooter. Might not be the same level of shooter as James Harden, but still a hell of a shooter. We've seen Tracy McGrady explode. I'm talking about not explosion as far as athleticism, because we'll get to there. I'm talking about explode for points. It's not like he's just a quiet Paul Pierce type guy. I'm talking about a guy that can come down and take you off the dribble, get around corners, pull up with hands in his face, pull up, shoot wide open, or take you to the bucket and rise over the top and dunk on you. Finish at the rim with the trees because of his size. Something that James Harden, is questionable. Yeah, he's decent at the rim, but nothing like Tracy McGrady. You can't teach 6'9". You know what I'm saying? You can't teach 6'9" with long arms, meaning there's nothing you can do with him. You can send the double. You can have the help defense on the block. He's just going to rise up over and finish at the rim. James Harden does not have that the same ability, and it's a size thing.
All right.
Super long. That's crazy.
It's back on you, OG the Beast. Round 1. Here goes the rebuttal. Do your thing.
To be honest with you, Ox, I'm sorry I got to do this to you, but I'm literally about to leave you with no legs to stand on, because there is absolutely no metric whatsoever that you could convey to the crowd to convince them that Tracy McGrady is a better scorer than James Harden. There's no statistic that'll stand next to you by that. There's no metric created in NBA history, no analytic that can prove that to be the case, because I have them all right here in my right hand, or right here in the right side of my membrane. Listen, James Harden was better from every aspect that you could think of. And I know it's the popular opinion to hate on James Harden right now, and everybody's been giving T-Mac a lot of love lately, don't know where it's come from, but let's be honest. James Harden is more efficient. He shoots better from 3. He shoots better from field goal. He attacks the basket at a more efficient rate as well. Shoots the mid-range better, especially earlier in his career. Now, if you want to argue Tracy McGrady from that aspect, you can do just that. But if we're looking at it from a numbers perspective, it's not even close. He has more scoring titles. He averaged 30 points per game 3 consecutive seasons, and during that stretch, he was averaging 33.7 points per game. Tracy McGrady could never think about sniffing nowhere near about close to that number, right? 30 points per game. Do you know how many players in NBA history averaged 30 plus 3 times in their career? Not even consecutive. Harden did it 3 straight years. We ain't even got to narrow it that low. Do you know how many players in NBA history did it just 3 times in their career? Only 12. I could ramble off the 12, but I don't have enough time. But I'm going to get to some more of that in just a second. I'm not done with you yet, sir.
Wait, there's more. We got topic 3. Round 2 about to start up now. It's on you, Ox. Your time starts when you do.
You said T-Mac can never come close to sniffing scoring. I mean, he literally averaged 32.1 points per game. Like that's just factually wrong. He literally did average 32 points. And on top of that, he did this when a time when Cass wasn't averaging a whole bunch of points like that. You know what I mean? James Harden did it in a more open era. The lane was more wide open. Do you know what Tracy McGrady would do in 2020? 2019, 2018, it wouldn't even be close. It was a different game, a much different game. That's why T-Mac had to have more in his bag. He couldn't rely on step backs and flailing. And you know what else he couldn't rely on, OG? He couldn't rely on foul baiting. There was 9 years, 9 years when James Harden shot 9 or more free throws per game. You know how many times that happened for Tracy McGrady? One. This many. 9 years when he was foul baiting, 1 year when T-Mac shot more than 9 free throws per game. What does that tell you? That means you're up here arguing for a habitual flopper, a habitual free throw merchant. That's who you're arguing for, OG. You should be ashamed. I know you know better than that. I'm talking about a dude that was playing in a time when there was more people in the paint, where it was more physical, when I had to finish through contact, and still didn't shoot 10 or more free throws per game for a whole season like James Harden did. That's a guy that was trying to score, not trying to throw his arms up in the air and do all of this and flopping. You should be ashamed of yourself, OG, for taking this guy in this.
All right, Ox, I had to mute you. Your time was up. All right, it's back on you, OG. Do your thing. Your time starts when you do.
Oh, let me cook. Listen, man, you brought up free throws, and I love the fact that you brought up free throws. It really doesn't matter. Shaq said he left about 2,500 points at the damn free throw line, and he wishes he could take them all back. So that doesn't really matter. James Harden is knocking them down. And plus, he's a better free throw shooter. That's another aspect of scoring that he's better than Tracy McGrady at. You can definitely look at the numbers. Now, when you brought up that 32 points that Tracy McGrady averaged, that was cute. He did that one time. The numbers that I named, that 33.7, that was over a 3 consecutive year span for James Harden. So I took 3 seasons, averaged them up, and came up with 33.7, right? Tracy McGrady just did that for 1 season. That was 3 years for James Harden. I mentioned 12 players in NBA history averaged 30, 3 or more times in their career. We're not going to name them, but only 4 guys did it in the last 20 seasons. That was LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Allen Iverson, of course, James Harden. I don't see T-Mac on that list anywhere, right? T-Mac had 7 years of averaging 22 plus points per game. 7. That's nice for T-Mac. But James Harden had 10 years, an entire decade, where he averaged 22 or more points per game consecutively, might I add you. So there's no metric, no set of legs that you could stand on to give me an example outside of what your eyes tell you and how your feelings make you feel that will support the fact T-Mac is a better scorer than James Harden. You have yet to give me a stat or metric that illustrates that for your argument. And until then, you lost.
Damn. All right. Round 3 of topic 3. This is the final round for you guys. Let's cook up. Big Ox, you got it.
You got me muted.
Well, hold on. Wait. Restart his time.
Yep.
All right, your time starts when you do.
Okay, cool. OG, I'm happy that you just for 3 topics in 3 rounds for each of these topics consistently repeated yourself every single time your mic was off mute. Could you come with something new, something fresh, some flavor for me? Please stop repeating yourself, dog. I don't need metrics and stats to explain to you the ability of Tracy McGrady. You know what I'm saying? I don't need metrics and stats to explain to you that he was unguardable. Super fast, 6'9", like I told you. He can do anything. If you're watching these 2 dudes play basketball, you're going to obviously see who's the better basketball player. I'm not talking about a guy with 2 moves. I'm not talking about a guy that got to dribble the air out the ball and wait for anything to come up. I'm talking about a guy that can get the ball and get to work. Not in the stat book, but on the basketball court. A guy that can go from anywhere, on the block, open up, mid-range, catch the ball, shoot over the top of dudes. At the 3-point line, if you don't come out here, I'm knocking it down. If you come out here, I'm going past you. I'm talking about a guy that has multiple ways to score. How could you tell me that he's not a better scorer? When I already explained to you, back then, there was much better defenders. There was much less 3-point shooting. The paint was more clogged up. And still, his stats are comparable. What does that tell you? In a time when it wasn't happening, he was doing it.
All right, fellas. All right. We cooking up. How we feeling right now?
I feel great. I feel great.
Ooh, I knew that last round was gonna be tough, boy.
All right,
Nah, good
all
shit
right.
though for sure. G, good work, bro. Good work for real.
Yes, sir.
The polls are up. Y'all be sure to go ahead and vote. Let me know who won round 3. Fellas, y'all came and did y'all thing. How you feeling right now?
I feel great, man. I mean, I could tell it's a little bit of chat bias. They don't really know me that much, but I mean, I wish y'all would take the time and listen to what I'm saying and really understand what I'm saying versus just voting on a familiar face. You know what I'm saying? But hey, that's it is what it is. You know, I can't, you know, ain't really
Chat-
nothing I can say about that.
Chat bias? Where's the chat bias? You
Come on,
you just
60,
won
what
that
you,
round.
what you won 70%, what 65, 70% the first round? Come on now,
Well, that's because I cooked you that first
oh
round.
no,
That's all
no,
that
sir.
was.
No, sir. No,
That's
sir.
all that was.
Oh,
That
OG,
was
for what
just cooking.
For what
Like
it's worth, you got 68% of the votes right now.
Oh well,
So, you know what I'm saying?
there we go. There we go. Now
I
y'all
think
listening.
we're being fair. I think
Y'all
we're being
listening.
fair.
Y'all listening.
I feel like honestly, I cooked you in that first round, and I feel like that third round was more your way. So I think the chat's doing what they're supposed to do. Honestly,
Okay, copy that. Copy that.
Once again, y'all make sure you like the video. Get over. You got 20 more seconds to go vote on the poll. Keep in mind, all voting matters. Whether you vote on this live vote, that goes in totality to who wins. If you're not watching live, if you comment on the video afterwards and say Big Ox won this debate, that will count. If there is a clip that comes up on TikTok, or if there's a clip that comes up on YouTube or Instagram, those votes matter too. Y'all be sure to vote, so we can get down to the bottom of who really won this. So we talking about chat bias. It ain't gonna be no chat bias because
My bad, Zay. My bad. He said crying about it. Go get your vote taken away. My bad, y'all. My bad, y'all. Look, man, we just here to have a good time, man. That's it.
Round 3 concluded, and OGDABEAST took it 65% of the vote to Ox's 34. Shout out to OGDABEAST. You got that round 3. Hey, appreciate you, brothers, for coming up and cooking up. That was a fire-ass debate. I'm going to go ahead and throw this on the screen so we can see the group that you guys are in. You guys are group 3. You will be battling every Wednesday. This group consists of, you just seen these two, Big Ox and OGDABEAST, but we also got Elder Rufus and we got Casual. And as for YouTube, we will be seeing you guys next. Let me see. Let me pull up the schedule. We'll be seeing you guys next Wednesday. Big Ox, you got Casual at 8:15 Eastern time. And OGDABEAST, you got Elder Rufus at 9 p.m. Eastern time.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Until then, we'll catch you guys soon. You guys got anything on the way out?
Oh, no, man. Follow me on all social medias at OGDABEAST_sports on everything. Y'all already know, man, if you're trying to tap in.
Y'all go follow right now.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Good work, OG. Good work,
yes,
OG.
Sir. Good work, Ox, man. Good shit. I love it. I love it.
All right. We got another battle coming up next. And we just left the heavyweight bout, and we got our nightcap with another heavyweight bout. Y'all know who these two guys are. They're very familiar faces on the Players' Choice platform. We're going to get to that. I got my man Chilltown Hoops versus Haize. We'll be back in a second to get to this. Y'all see the merchandise. Y'all see the merchandise. This is what we battling for right here. Hey, we got bragging rights and we got all that other good stuff, but the belt is what we really battling for. Y'all see the PCL belt. This will go to whoever wins this, along with bragging rights. Oh, and 1,000 big ones. Whoever wins this whole PCL debate league will get $1,000 cash prize along with the belt and maybe some other perks too. I'm gonna go ahead and bring these guys up, and we're gonna go ahead and get into it. Y'all know this man. Y'all seen his face plenty of times, but here he goes right here. I got my dog Haize rocking with me, man. How you feeling today?
What's going on, Ron? How you feeling, brother? I'm good, man.
I'm cool, man. We have some fire ass battles. First two ones of the day, they were smooth. First two ones of PCL, and now we get to really end with just the nightcap that we needed. Let's get to it. Let's get
it.
Chill Town, talk to me.
I don't need my gloves. I'm straight.
Okay.
Ox put his gloves on. We in the alley. Let's get it on. I don't need my gloves. Let's get it on. I'm bare knuckles tonight.
All right, here we go. Y'all heard what I said. Belt at stake, $1,000 is at stake. This is these guys' first matchup of the PCL, so this should be a good one. We're gonna get into it. The first topic that we got of the night is Shaquille O'Neal versus Hakeem the Dream. All right, Chill Town. I'm gonna have you kick it off. Haize, it's on you second. Let's get to it. Your time starts when you start.
Absolutely, sure. So Olajuwon came into the game raw. He was very much the defender. He was not much of an offensive player. In addition to him not being a defender, he wasn't much of a basketball player. He was a soccer player who didn't really know much about basketball. But when he got to college basketball, he became a defensive force, and that actually translated over to the pro game. They actually were in the Final Four 2 straight years when he was there. He led the country in blocks as good as he was. Then he got to the NBA. I think he's the best defensive player in NBA history. In the process of him becoming the best defensive player in the NBA history, he also was very raw offensively. But when you saw him on the block, he refined his skills. And when refining his skill set, what he did was all you saw was turnaround jump hooks. All you saw was up and unders. Well, Olajuwon actually enhanced all of that because of his footwork, because of his athleticism. So he had the dream shake. He had all of that other stuff. He had face-ups in his game. He was able to knock down the mid-range and expand his offense, which now made it even tougher on the defense. So we got a guy in Hakeem Olajuwon who, if I'm not mistaken, he had a 10-year stretch where he was 24-12 and almost 4 blocks a game, and he was fantastic, and it wasn't empty neither. So it was something that turned him into one of the best bigs in NBA history. In the process of him being that, the footwork that he showed, it was so enhanced that the word got out that Olajuwon was teaching footwork, and the line was around the corner. They were around the corner trying to figure out how can we get involved with a guy like this. So Hakeem Olajuwon is definitely one of the best bigs in NBA history.
All right, there we go. Chill Town coming out the gates, cooking up. Haize, it's your turn now. The time starts when you do.
No one can doubt the amazingness of Hakeem Olajuwon, but I got a couple of stats I'm going to throw at you. In 20 games against Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaquille O'Neal won 14 of those games.
Sure.
14-6 in that. In their one-on-one matchup, Shaquille O'Neal averaged 22 points per game, 12.4 rebounds, 3.6 assists in those 20 games. Hakeem Olajuwon only averaged less than 19 points, didn't even double on rebounds at less than 10 rebounds per game, and only 2.9 assists. When you look at the guys head-to-head, the fact of the matter is when they played, Shaq was dominant. And then at the top of that, Shaq played against Hakeem when he was young and raw, and Hakeem was in his prime, and Shaq still came out in those matchups with better stats, more wins, and he just clearly, when Shaq was in the game, he changed the physical dominance of the game, coming in at less than 225 pounds, I think he did, and was still dominant even when he got over 260 in that time. Rounded out his game, has titles, was one of the most dominant in an era of big men that included Hakeem, Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, Karl Malone, and more. When Hakeem, nobody can doubt the greatness of Hakeem Olajuwon, and that's never what I would try to do in this debate. But the fact of the matter is that when Shaq was in the game, there were more dominant big men, and he stood out there as the most dominant ever and Superman. So when you look at that, I take the head-to-head matchups, and I think that has to play a part in that. And the fact of the matter is, when you look at that, the 14 wins and only 6 losses against Hakeem, I gotta give it to Shaq.
I'm glad you brought that up. And the reason why I'm glad you brought that up is because what I just got finished talking about when I talked about for 10 years, him going 24, 12, and almost 4 blocks. Well, he had a 4-year stretch. In that 4-year stretch, he went 27, 13, and almost 4 blocks and a steal. And in that 4-year stretch, like I told you, it wasn't empty. Not only was it not empty, they won the NBA championship in back-to-back seasons. And who did they win the NBA championship against? Not only did he have to go through Shaq at the end, I'll start with the fact that he had to go through Malone, who at that time, best power forward in the game. Then he had to go through Charles Barkley, second best power forward in the game. Then he had to go through Hakeem. Now he had to go through David Robinson, who was the defensive player of the year and the league MVP, had to go through him. And to top it off, he had to go through Shaquille O'Neal, who he wiped the floor with 33-12 and smoked those dudes. But I'm not even talking about that, because the reason why I don't have to talk about that is because it's like talking about the ex-boyfriend. I don't need to talk about him. The reason why I don't need to talk about him, because I'm already here, right? So we're talking about Hakeem Olajuwon, whom there's a reason why they named the defensive player of the year after him. He's the best defensive player in NBA history. We're talking about a guy who, when he retired, numero uno on the shot block list, numero uno. When he also retired, he was top 10 in the league in points, rebounds, blocks, and steals. These are how many guys in NBA history have done that before he did it. These are how many guys have done that since he did it. We're talking about a guy who, once he retired, his footwork was so immaculate that guards, Kobe Bryant in particular, picked up the telephone. Big fella, can you teach me this, please? His work ethic was incredible, and there was nothing left on the table for Hakeem Olajuwon.
All right. Chilltown just concluded his second round. Haize, it's back to you for a rebuttal. Your time starts when you do, brother.
I look at this at a time where Michael Jordan clearly dominated the 90s, and then Kobe Bryant shortly picked up the mantle shortly after that. We still have to talk about Shaquille O'Neal because he was just that dominant. And so much, in fact, that Dwight Howard wanted to take over the Superman mantle once he came in as the most dominant center. But by the way, Dwight Howard having a great stretch, which we got to also at some point talk about. But like Shaquille O'Neal, to me, and I like I said, it's I can never argue against the accolades of a Hakeem Olajuwon because the finesse, he was the better overall finesse part of the game. And we're talking about the most dominant, physically dominant. Shaquille O'Neal, the league had to adjust to the physicality of Shaquille O'Neal, so much so that they had to create a hack-a-Shaq just to keep him from being able to be as dominant as what he is. And even then, he still was able to be dominant, and then left from the Los Angeles Lakers, went to the Miami Heat, and still picked up another part of his career where he's still not as dominant, but still effective. And I look at what it comes down to with Shaquille O'Neal in those stretches and having the titles that he did, doing it for 2 different franchises. Shaquille O'Neal, as far as dominance, right? The finesse game he did not have. We know that. But for a player like Shaq to be as dominant physically as what he is, even when he gained weight and the league started to adjust to him and still it didn't take anything away from his game, it's hard to argue against Shaq for me because Shaq was just that guy. You felt it when you played Shaq. And when other centers had to step up, you had to go through Shaq.
Absolutely. And with that also being said, we're also talking about the benchmark, which was Hakeem Olajuwon, who, again, wasn't as polished as Shaq when he first showed up. Shaq is the guy who we talked about who wanted to be Dr. J when he showed up. So there was a different skill level. Hakeem Olajuwon actually had to work on that. And since we're talking about working on something, Hakeem Olajuwon left nothing on the table after he retired. Everything was empty. We're talking about a guy who was completely raw when he showed up. Not only was he raw, he wasn't nearly as skilled. His ball handling got better. His ability to block shots, his ability to defend. We're talking about the best, in my estimation, the best defensive player in NBA history. He put so much pressure on defenses. He put so much pressure on offenses. Not just your big, but he also put pressure on your wings, the way he was able to recover. Not only was he able to do that, as a rim protector, he was immaculate. We're talking about a guy who in the 1988-89 season, I don't know if you know this, Haize, but he finished second in Defensive Player of the Year. You know he didn't make the All-League defensive team? These how many times in NBA history that's ever happened. Nobody has ever done that before him or since him, who's the same guy who he had a 3-year stretch where he finished second, third. There's a reason why the award is named after him. We're talking about a guy who was immaculate, not just as a defensive player, but as an offensive player on the block whose passing got much better. And not only did his passing get much better, his all-around game got much better, and it led to them actually winning. Not only did they win with him scoring, because we're talking about the same guy who not only was he a great scorer, he broke the record for scoring in postseason history. Not only did he do it once, he broke his record the very next year. So scoring was never a question. So he was elite on both the
Chill. I had to mute you, my man. I had to mute you. Your time is up. Haize, your time starts when you start.
When it goes from Shaq, when you look at Shaq coming into the league as a player that basically got by off nothing but physical dominance, they got nothing by on his athleticism, and how he ended up rounding out to actually having a decent post game for almost a decade and being able to do that on the block, even so much so that when he went to the Phoenix Suns and that team did not work, part of the best basketball we saw from Amari Stoudemire was when he was playing next to Shaq because of Shaq's gravity. And so when you talk about dominant centers, Shaq's ability to make the teammates around him better. Yeah, he doesn't have the accolades of Hakeem Olajuwon, and not very many players in the history of the NBA will. But Shaq made the players around him better, even at an elderly age, because of the gravity that Shaq had in the league. And so when you look at what Shaq's been able to do and how he has always adapted from being the athletic guy who just jumped and dunked to being a guy who rounded out and had more smooth post moves, as well as taking the advice and leadership from Phil Jackson. Shaq was able to have just a run that not many people can combat, and the only person that really can in the battle in a conversation like this is Hakeem Olajuwon. So when you when you look at Shaq in the period of time that he had, the run with Dwayne, the run with Kobe Bryant, and how the league adjusted to it, but Shaq was always able to stay basically effective to the end of that. That Boston run was absolute trash. The longevity of Shaq, I got to give it to him as well.
All right. That was the conclusion of topic 1. These brothers came up here cooked up. We're going to throw this poll up here, and you guys let us know, who do you think won round 1?
I think
Topic 1.
We talk about Shaq.
Chill had Hakeem. Haize had Shaq. You guys vote. Who was the more dominant center? What's up, Chill? You were saying something?
No, it was difficult for me to talk about Hakeem Olajuwon the way I did, considering. That's all I'm going to say. It was hard for me to do that. So,
it was some things you had to work through.
Yeah, there was some stuff I had to get over to talk about Hakeem Olajuwon because you know why. So, I was able to get through it though. I was able to get through it. So, and anybody who knows me knows I'm googly eyed for Hakeem Olajuwon. But just saying, I'm just saying. So, I don't think we talk enough about Olajuwon the way we do. So,
all right, y'all know the drill. The poll is running right now. You guys make sure you get over to that poll and vote. Also, too, to everybody that is watching and they're not live, you get a chance to get in on the vote too. It's not just you being here live. All you guys have to do is comment on the video and say, hey, I got Haize in the sweep. Hey, I got Chilltown winning the battle. And that will count towards the tally of the votes. This battle will not be determined who's the winner. The winner will not be determined until after the season is over in week 4. Then we will go through and tally up all the votes. And that will decide who wins each battle. All right, y'all. Topic 2 is coming up. This poll is about to end.
This is actually the first time this is the first time I'm meeting you, Haize. I'm sorry.
No, we did Lowe's thing together. I was on the Jeopardy with you. We won.
I'm wow. I'm wow, Haize. I'm for real. I'm wow. The dude was on my team and I don't even remember him. I'm wow. How about that?
All right, y'all. That poll just ended in Chilltown. You took 80% of the votes. So you got the first live round. Once again, that's not the end all be all. All right, let's get into topic 2. Topic 2 consists of the best rebounder, or who was the better rebounder more specifically. We got Dennis Rodman and we got Moses Malone. This should be a good one, y'all. This should be a good one. Chilltown, you went first.
I did go first.
So now, Haize, it is on you this time to go first. You kick us off, and your time starts whenever you do.
If we're talking about strictly rebounders, you cannot tell the story of great rebounders without telling the story of Dennis Rodman. When you look at him leading the league in reboundings for 7 consecutive seasons and doing so through 2 different teams as well, Dennis Rodman was a player that brought the intensity, the heart, and very much so in the second three-peat for the Chicago Bulls. My Chicago Bulls, I might add, was such an important part of the road to that. And Dennis Rodman, as just a rebounder, there's nobody that compares for Dennis Rodman, which I'll follow up here in the second round. I'm gonna save a little bit for you on that one, but especially when you compare him to Moses Malone and what he's been able to do. Like, Dennis Rodman understood his role, and he was the ultimate role player, not somebody who needed to score, only scoring 7.3 points per game over his career, but still is somebody who has so many rebounding records. When you talk about rebounding, Dennis Rodman is one of those stories of rebounding. He is one of the greatest, if not the greatest rebounders in the history of the game of basketball. He made rebounding and changed the momentum of games by the way that he was able to keep opposing teams off the boards, get his other teams more possessions, and just support that role and let the stars be the stars. Dennis Rodman came in and understood one thing that he did great, and that was rebounding the basketball. And nobody in the game of basketball even got close to really how he was able to do it, with also not needing plays called for him. Yeah, he had the antics, he had all the other stuff around him, but Dennis Rodman is the best rebounder in the game of basketball. And that is not only supported by stats, analytics, but also the eye test. And that's something that plays a big part when you're talking about something like rebounding the basketball with Dennis Rodman.
So Moses didn't go to college, unlike Dennis, who actually went to college for 4 years. So Moses didn't go to college. He actually played in the ABA, and he came into the NBA right from the door. Because anybody who knows me knows that I am a big fan of dirty work guys. And when you're talking about dirty work guys, one of the main things you're talking about is you're talking about a glass cleaner. And there is no glass cleaner. There is no glass cleaner equivalent to Moses Malone. We're talking about a guy who first came into the league as a glass cleaner. I believe he averaged 15 boards a game when he first got to the ABA. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move down to later on in his career. I mean, we're talking about the best offensive rebounder that the NBA has ever seen. Not only are we talking about the best offensive rebounder that the NBA has ever seen, we're also talking about a guy who averaged double-figure rebounds 13 straight years. 13 straight years he averaged double-figure rebounds. Chamberlain, Russell, only other two dudes who could say that they did that. No, nobody else can say that they did that at that rate. That's number one. Number two, we're also talking about a guy who averaged 15 rebounds 8 straight years. He did that. Chamberlain, Russell, Nate Thurman. I'm the only other guys who can say that they did that, except him. 15 straight rebounds for 8 years. Now, we're also talking about a guy, the best offensive rebounder that the NBA has ever seen. He averaged 7 rebounds a game on the offensive end for his career. I mean, he averaged 6 offensive rebounds. I'm sorry, not 7. He averaged 6 offensive rebounds for his career. That's better than Jabbar. That's better than Nate Thurman. So when we're talking about a guy who's strictly a glass cleaner, there aren't many that I can say that are better than Moses Malone.
All right, Haize, it's back on you. Y'all just both had your round 1. This is round 2.
One of the things that we have to talk about when you talk about reboundings is the pace of the game is different per era. And Moses Malone played in an era where the pace wasn't the same as the era that Dennis Rodman played in. But to make things all even, when you adjust for pace and make everything even as far as pace, Dennis Rodman owned 7 of the top 16 seasons all time when the pace is adjusted to. And a matter of fact, Moses Malone's best season when adjusted for pace is 15% worse than Dennis Rodman's worst season when you adjust for pace. The fact of the matter is that when you look at him, it's hard to compare errors, but Dennis Rodman was a better rebounder. When you try to make things all even by the data that we have to make it even, Dennis Rodman not only averaged more rebounds per game than Moses Malone did for his career at 13.1 to 12.2, but then when you adjust for that pace, it's clear. Dennis Rodman, 17 of the top 16 rebounding seasons in the history of the game go to one man. That one man is only Dennis Rodman. So when you with that aspect coming into it, I'm sorry. Like, Dennis Rodman is the guy who gets it done. And at the end of the day, like, the way that Dennis Rodman was able to rebound and having this conversation when you compare errors, comparing errors is the hardest thing to do. But adjusting for pace is the closest thing that you can get to doing that. And Dennis Rodman not only clears Moses Malone, he clears just about everybody else in the history of the league. You just can't ignore that.
Now, I'm glad you brought up the pace. So now we're talking about a guy in Moses Malone who revolutionized one aspect of rebounding. I don't think you understand how much pressure you put on the defense when you are able to offensive rebound at the rate that he was able to offensive rebound. Not only was he able to do that, it actually amounted to wins, right? So when he was in Houston, when he was averaging 6 and 7 offensive rebounds per season, they were in the NBA Finals. When he was in Philly, when he was averaging 6 offensive rebounds, they were in the NBA Finals. When he was playing against Jabbar, pulling down 20 rebounds. When he's playing against Jabbar in the playoffs in 1979, and he's averaging 20 rebounds in the playoffs, and almost 13 of those are offensive rebounds. The amount of pressure that you put on the defense The amount of pressure that you put on the defense to have to rebound, to now slow them down. So your logic with pace kind of goes out the window off the strength that now I got a guy who's offensive rebounding, so we can't run as much as we want to because this guy is taking our rebounds that we need to have. So we can't do that anymore. Add that to the fact that this guy, in terms of longevity, I don't know if you know this, Haize, but Moses Malone, when he retired, it was only 4 dudes in NBA history who had more rebounds than him when he retired. That clears Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman is behind Moses Malone by 5,000 rebounds. By 5,000. So it's not close where he is when we're talking about a rebounder. Again, we're talking about a guy who was the epitome of a glass cleaner. And not only was he the epitome of a glass cleaner, on the offensive end where he was able to score and be effective, it way more translated to his game and to win it.
I'm glad that you mentioned that because Moses Malone's ability to score did put him in better position to be offensive rebounding because Dennis Rodman was not a scorer. So when you say things like, and nobody can take away from Moses Malone's ability to rebound, and he did revolutionize that game. But the fact of the matter is that if he was up and Dennis Rodman was the one on defense with that, he wouldn't have been able to have that same impact offensive rebounding wise. Moses Malone played at a time where, yes, he did revolutionize that part of the game, but he wasn't coming up consistently against somebody who had the intensity of what a Dennis Rodman did. And not only did Dennis Rodman know the trajectory of where balls were going, he brought a calculated amount of focus to the rebounding. It wasn't just luck. And I'm not saying that Moses Malone was just luck, but he didn't luck into rebounds. As crazy as Dennis Rodman was, one of the things that he made the most sense about, period, was his ability to understand the trajectory of where a ball was going when it came off the rim. We could talk all day about Moses Malone and his ability to offensive rebound, but if those games was against Dennis Rodman and they played the same time at their prime, there's no amount of data that even supports coming close to what Dennis Rodman was able to do, rebounding the ball defensively, offensively. Like I said, that momentum that he was able to get, that momentum would have been snuffed out by Dennis Rodman very, very quickly if he was on that side of the ball. And so I get what you're saying. I love Moses Malone, love watching the game, but Dennis Rodman is the rebounder when you come and look at it in the case of basketball, in my opinion.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the amount of competition that we're talking about. So I think that Dennis Rodman, and again, I don't really much like to talk about other guys. I like to stay on topic, and I appreciate Dennis Rodman for the rebounder that he was, 100% at 6'7", 6'8", that he could rebound the way that he could. But the competition level that we're talking about a big man league in the 70s. We're also talking about a big man league in the 80s. That means that glass cleaners like Wes Unseld, I got to go up against him. Glass cleaners like Jack Sikma, I got to go up against him. Glass cleaners like Jabal, I got to go up against him. Glass cleaners like Elvin Haize, I got to go up against him. And I'm dominant, not only on the defensive glass, I'm dominant on the offensive glass as well. And not only am I dominant on the offensive glass and on the defensive glass, it's actually leading to wins. Not only is it leading to wins, I am ultimately getting the MVP. Not only am I getting the MVP, my team is winning NBA championships solely off the strength of me being a glass cleaner. Don't get me wrong. I was able to get buckets, but as a glass cleaner and as a big guy playing in a big man era, so I got to go up against Jack Sikma. I got to go up against Jabal. I got to go up against Elvin Haize. I got to go up against Wes Unseld. This is just in the 70s. Now, when we move to the 80s, when I got to go up against Patrick Ewing, and I got to go up against Hakeem Olajuwon, and I got to go up against Robert Parrish, another great rebounder. When I got to go up against all these great rebounders, and I am still elite at the rebounding spot, it tells you how elite I was. Once again, we're talking about a guy who finished fifth, all time in rebounds. So I can't say that Dennis Rodman, again, I can't say that Dennis Rodman wasn't great. He wasn't better than Moses, though.
I gotta just I get what you're saying as far as that, but like it's just a different era when you look at the role that Dennis Rodman played as far as rebounding. Like Moses Malone was an amazing scorer, and he was amazing as just an overall big man. The finesse that Moses Malone had, Dennis Rodman doesn't come close to. But you're talking about the intensity, the grind, and rebounding the basketball, contributing to championship runs. Dennis Rodman, as a role player, had a more singular focus and executed it better. we keep talking about, you keep going to offensive rebounds, you keep going to the offense that Moses Malone was able to play. Dennis Rodman got no plays called for him and didn't need to, and still was around every ball, no matter what position, who they switched him on, no matter what they did in Chicago, in San Antonio, in Detroit. He always found a way to be around the ball, and it wasn't by happenstance. The way that Dennis Rodman attacked the boards and changed the momentum of games, that's a thing. To do that without scoring, to do that without plays being called for you, to do that without it being something that you are even a factor in the offense when you were in Chicago, to still be able to impact that game and to change it. There were games where the Chicago Bulls, that momentum changed because of the way that Dennis Rodman was able to rebound that basketball, because of the intensity that Dennis Rodman brought to those games, because of the way that he got the crowd into that based off what? Rebounding. And he did it all at 6'7". Like, let's not forget about that as well. What Dennis Rodman was able to do in an era of big man at being 6'7" and still dominate off the boards, to undercut that, it's just not something I could do, man.
All right. That was a fire topic. That was some good ass debate from both of y'all. Y'all know the drill. We putting the poll up right now. And when it goes up, you know what to do. Go over there and vote for who you think won this battle, front to back, top to bottom. Once again, I'll let you guys know that it's not just a live vote that matters. You guys will get a chance to vote after the video goes from live. The people that aren't watching right now, vote, and your vote will matter. All you have to do is type in the chat, who do you think won the battle? So if it's the first battle, if you think Big Ox lost to OGDABEAST, then you could say OGDABEAST won, and he will get a tally to his votes. If you think Elder Rufus beat Casual, you say Elder Rufus won his battle versus Casual, and he will get a vote counted towards this video. In the meantime, we a little low on the likes right now. So while we here with 50 seconds left for you guys voting, make sure you hit that like button to subscribe, and shout out to any members, especially my guy, the guy who joined this video. Big shout out to you, man. Appreciate you. All right, fellas. As of right now, it's going back and forth. It's going back and forth. It's a close battle. I need y'all to get over there and vote. Need y'all to go. We got 20 seconds left. Go vote. In the meantime, topic 3 is coming up. And this is a good one. I think this is your best topic yet. Basketball minds. The best basketball mind. Who has the best basketball mind? Phil Jackson or Greg Popovich? We're getting into that right now. The live voting just concluded, and Chilltown cleaned up 51% of the votes to narrowly edge out Haize. Keep in mind, this is not the end-all, be-all. If you're watching this video and it's not live, comment on the video and let us know who won so we can tally up these votes. In the meantime, we still got one more round to get into in this heavyweight bout right now. Best basketball mind. Moses Malone, or not Moses Malone, Phil Jackson.
Moses was a great basketball mind, though. Yes, he was. So was Dennis Rodman.
Should he be in this conversation? You want to take Moses again?
Dennis Rodman was a lot smarter than what people give him credit for.
A lot smarter. He's still crazy as hell.
Dennis is a lot smarter than what people gave him credit for. So, but we ain't talking about those two now. We're talking about somebody different here.
Phil Jackson, Greg Popovich. Let's get into it. Chill, you went first last round.
Haize nope. No.
I went
first in the first one, and then Haize went. So it's my turn to go first. It's my turn.
To go first.
So I think the mark of a great coach is to, one, get your players to be the best version of who they can possibly be. Whatever you know how to do, we're going to enhance that. Not only whatever you know how to do, whatever you don't know how to do, we're going to minimize that until you're better at it. And the way you do that is you get guys to buy into your system. It's not easy to get pros to buy into your system because they think they already know everything. So Phil Jackson comes into the league, right? Phil Jackson comes into the league as an assistant coach who was coaching in Puerto Rico, but came from the mind of Red Holtzman, who understood that in order for us to get to where we're trying to get to, we need to be together. There's no way that you're going to do it or you're going to do it. We are all going to do it. And I feel like Phil Jackson, who absolutely who absolutely enhanced diplomacy. So he wasn't one of those iron fist guys who just said, yo, we do it my way or the highway. No, he employed diplomacy where he listened to Tex Winters, who was the master of the triangle. And what he also did when he did that was he enhanced and introduced the NBA to the point forward position, because we didn't know what a point forward was before we saw Phil Jackson. We got introduced to the point forward position. When we got introduced to the point forward position, the birth of Scottie Pippen showed up. And now, not only does Scottie Pippen show up, the triangle offense is even enhanced, because now we got guys buying into the system and we see that it works. In the process of it working, it's actually leading to wins. Once you do that, you're the mark of a great coach.
And I agree that a mark of a great coach is if you're able to get players to adapt and buy into what you're doing in the system is great. But Greg Popovich not only was able to get those same personalities, he was able to mold his coaching style to fit the personalities of the players that he had, and did it through several generations at this point. There are people who literally weren't even born the first time Pop won the title that now are watching him still coach the next generation with Wemby. What Greg Popovich was able to do from an X's and O's standpoint. Not to say that Phil wasn't also a solid X's and O's coach, but when you look at how Pop adapted and involved everything, not only to how the league changed, but also to how his roster changed, from the Twin Towers, from going from Tim Duncan and David Robinson to going to Manu and Tony Parker, what he was able to do to keep that team relevant through the years that they were able to still stay competitive as that roster changes, no matter what role players they had to fill out that bench. Greg Popovich was able to not only get those players to buy into his system, buy into a championship mindset, he was also able to get those players to play the way that he needed them to play and not just fit into a certain system. Phil Jackson was great. He had the triangle. If you didn't fit into the triangle, you didn't work. What Greg Popovich did, though, is if you didn't fit into his system, he figured out how to adapt his system to get the best out of you. He did that through several players. Even when you go into DeJuan Blair having several successful seasons under Greg Popovich with no ACLs, what Popovich was able to do with sometimes less than the rest of the teams around him had, I just got to give him the X's and O's nod over Phil.
Well, when I think about a great basketball mind, again, I think about I think about a number of different things. And one of the things that I think about more than just X's and O's, I think about how you manage talent, because at that level, especially when you got guys like Michael Jordan, especially when you got guys like Scottie Pippen, when you got guys like Horace, when you got these guys who basically are established in who they are and they're not really tuned into what you're trying to do, and now you come in and change the system, you have to manage these personalities. And I feel like Phil Jackson was able to do that to the utmost. In addition to him being able to manage these guys' personalities, he was able to enhance the triangle. And to your point, when you talked about a guy being able to have rosters getting mixed up, well, last I checked, Phil Jackson actually left the Chicago Bulls with Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, Horace Grant. He left them after Dennis Rodman, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and won with Kobe Bryant and Shaq, who had gotten swept out of the playoffs the year before and had no continuity whatsoever. The triangle offense was built around the big man, and he was able to implement that in with Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant and have them get on the same page. Despite what you had seen with them bickering with each other, he was able to manage them to a point where they still were on the same page and they won. When you're talking about a basketball mind, Phil Jackson was able to get guys to read books. He was able to get guys to be a community. That's a big deal when you're talking about being on a crew. I didn't even bring up all his accomplishments.
Back on you, Haize.
I think when you talk about a basketball mind as well, you need to talk about how that mind develops players. And when you look at what Greg Popovich was able to do, 23 straight years of going to the playoffs with the multitude of different players, roster construction, skill sets over that time, as well as a league that completely changed about 3 or 4 times over that time. A great mind is able to have that longevity. And you talk about that longevity. Greg Popovich didn't always have the stars that Phil Jackson had. And oh, by the way, once the league did pass Phil Jackson up when he went to the New York Knicks and didn't know how to build a team to buy into his system, what was Greg Popovich doing? Greg Popovich was taking the oldest team in the league in 2012-13 that still won a title at that time. You talk about managing talent. Greg Popovich was the one that introduced the concept of modern day player management to the NBA when you look at rest in a game where he set Tony Parker, set Manu Ginobili, and people were asking, why did you sit these players in a nationally televised game? He did that for the oldest team in the league that then went on to win a title in that same season. 23 straight years of going to the playoffs. We're not just talking about a guy who had stretches with multiple teams. He did that through the same team, and part of the reason why he was able to do that was through his own development of those players that came into there. Yeah, you can say what exactly is Greg Popovich's system, but I'll say this: the fact that you can't identify just a system of Greg Popovich and you still can't deny his greatness says to me the mind that it was that Greg Popovich had. And despite running Jeremy Sohan at point guard, Greg Popovich has continued to adapt.
Sure. Now, I'm glad you brought up being able to adapt, because you being a guy from Chicago, you can definitely appreciate this. So that unit got built up from 1984, starting with Jordan up until he retired in 1993. I don't know if you noticed, but Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan are the only two guys that's on the first three-peat team, that was on the second three-peat team, which means that the triangle offense, which means that the management, which means that everything that I'm teaching, I got to teach this all to somebody else. And he did that. Not only did he do that, they did it on a historic pace. This Chicago Bulls team in 1996, they won 72 games. And not to be outdone and to prove that it wasn't a fluke, they won 69 games the next year. So this was a team that was bought in right from the beginning. The reason why they were bought in off the strength of what had been done in the past, well, don't just stop there. We're also talking about the all-time wins leader in NBA history. We're also talking about the all-time percentage leader in NBA history. We're also talking about the all-time playoff wins leader in NBA history. Why is he that? Because when he gets to the Lakers, this is a team that is very selfish. This is a team that is very much to themselves. Phil Jackson made it clear that there was some individual goals that were getting in the middle, they were getting in the way of the group goals. Once they bought into that, which is Phil Jackson's mastermind in building a community and getting everybody on the same page, they started rolling. They won 65 games, 67 games, won the NBA championship. The next year, they get on the same page, win the NBA championship. And the next year after that, oh, well, they win the NBA championship again. Then they tear that unit down. On top of them tearing that unit down, we build it back up with Pau Gasol, with Lamar Odom, and with Kobe Bryant, and we win the NBA championship again.
It's easy when you talk about a great basketball mind, and we talk about Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson taught every year out the same book, a book, by the way, that he didn't even write because he didn't create the triangle offense. When you look at Phil Jackson, he was able to teach and adapt out of multiple books, if we're using that analogy, for a generation of players. Phil Jackson had two of the greatest basketball players of all time when he won his titles. That's Kobe Bryant, that's Michael Jordan. What Greg Popovich was able to do as far as adapting, triangle offense, great. Triangle offense, still the sensibilities are still being taught. But like I said, when somebody else gives you the blueprint to the book and all your job is to teach out that same book repeatedly year after year, yeah, it's easier to get people to buy into that because you are the master of that book at that time. What Greg Popovich was able to do was to say, let me take this book. Let me go over and get this psychology book. Let me go out here and get this and adapt. As a league change to a league that shoots way more three-pointers than what it did now, he's still able to be effective. He's still able to coach. Oh, by the way, he's never not been able to relate to his players. Phil Jackson, at the end of his tenure, wasn't able to relate to the players that was on his roster, and they tuned Phil Jackson out, even with being the GM. Greg Popovich still commands every player that comes into that San Antonio system, so much so that players have to learn how to be Spurs before they necessarily learn how to be NBA players. And that is because of the greatness of what Greg Popovich has been able to teach and adapt his system to, and what he's been able to do over the course of almost 30 years in the NBA.
All right. Phil Jackson, Greg Popovich, y'all heard it here. Go ahead. Run the poll, and y'all go ahead and go over there and vote. Fellas, this was heat, man. I appreciate y'all for coming up. I appreciate y'all for doing what y'all do best, man. How you guys feeling after this?
Man, these dudes told me that this dude was going to be a walk in the park. What the hell?
See, you know what it is?
I knew. Well, first and foremost, I knew that it wasn't going to be that. I knew that. I'm not coming up here like, man, this dude is whack. No, that's how you get punched in the face. That's exactly how you get punched right in your face. I knew what it was going to be. So, nah, I was definitely more prepared than what y'all dudes was telling me, even though I didn't really know much about him. I remember being on the trivia show with him since you brought that up. But y'all definitely was underselling him. 100% y'all were.
Chill.
I'm more quiet on From the Logo because I let the other personalities get off. But, you know, it is what it is, man.
Hey, well, Haize, man, whenever I know you can't make those times, but whenever you're ready to come up on the panel and cook with us, man, you already know you got an open invitation. We would love to have you pull up.
Mhm.
Anytime, man.
Absolutely, man. That was good stuff. Yeah.
Appreciate everybody for tapping in. Chat, let me know what you guys thought your favorite topic was from these three. Whether it was the first topic, obviously these guys did the Shaquille O'Neal versus Hakeem Olajuwon. That was the first topic. Second topic was the better rebounder, Dennis Rodman or Moses Malone. And the last but definitely not least topic was Phil Jackson versus Greg Popovich. Y'all talk to me. Let me know which one y'all like the best. Like the video as well and subscribe if you haven't. This poll is coming to an end. As of right now, Haize, you got round 3 with 67% of the votes. So you took the live vote. But once again, it's not the live vote that is the end all be all. When this live ends and the video is up and you go and watch it, comment who you think won the total battle. And that person will get a tally to their vote to win this certain matchup right here. But fellas, on the way out, talk to me. How you feeling about this?
Good.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
It was fun. This was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Absolutely. No doubt. Yes, sir.
All right. Before y'all get up out of here, I do want to show everybody your group in case you haven't seen it yet. This is the group that Chilltown and Haize is in. You know you got Chilltown. You know you got Haize. But also, we got Jack Cody. If you watched the panel earlier today, he was on the panel. So make sure you go check that out so you can check out Jack. And also, y'all know the face. Y'all know the name. Dion from Ohio. He is in this group as well. So this is group 1 as currently stands. I've been hearing word on the streets is that you guys have the softest division.
I guess that's not true.
Do you guys think that you can stand up to the other divisions? Haize, have you seen other divisions?
I have. And the thing is all jokes aside, I know I'm quiet and that is, but as you can see, listen, I'll show you better than I can tell you. I ain't even go. I'm from Chicago. I ain't got to talk too much.
You see it.
Okay.
You see it.
Hey, chill and tell you, Haize, I've been trying to tell these guys you a heavyweight. They not sleeping on you. It's one guy. I'm not gonna mention on that.
It was Marz. Is it Marz? Is it Marz? It's okay. It's okay.
We'll keep that. We'll keep that here. But
it's mad. It's mad love for Marz, man. It's all right.
We'll keep that here.
But if you catch up with Marz on the one off, he gonna.
I mean, listen, it's hard to get into a battle with somebody who, when they sit in their desk chair, their feet dangling. So you know, it is what it is. Man. It is what it is. Marz,
Are you old enough to vote? Are you even old enough to vote? Are you old enough to vote? Give me a break, yo. What are you doing?
All right, fellas. Appreciate you for coming through.
Yes, sir.
For the first official day of the PCL, y'all came through and held it down. We will see you guys next week. Before you guys get out of here, let me tell the people who you guys got next week. Next Wednesday, we got you guys got buys next Wednesday, both of you guys. Okay. So we won't catch you guys next Wednesday, but we will catch you the Wednesday after that. Haize, you will be battling Dion from Ohio. And on Wednesday, August 8th, Chill, you'll be battling Jack Cody.
Okay.
So we'll see y'all in a couple weeks.
All right, no doubt.
All right, appreciate y'all for coming through.
Later.
That was fire, huh, chat? That was all right. That was cool. Hey, that was a cool first day of the PCL. Y'all see this belt that I got on my shoulder? This is what everybody's fighting for right here. This is what everything's about right here. Is who can get this belt. Also, on top of that, it is a $1,000 cash prize. So y'all stay tuned to see who, at the end of the day, will be standing at the top of the hill of the PCL. Before I get up out of here, I just want to let you guys know what we have coming up. On Sunday, we have some matchups with some of your other favorite panelists. Y'all got to see some of the guys today, but on Sunday, we'll be back again for the next round. And week 1 on Sunday, it will kick off at 6 p.m. Eastern. It will be Marz versus Zeezy. And then at 6:45 p.m. Eastern, it will be Pirate. Y'all remember Pirate versus our first wild card. His name is Intel, and I think he got some good stuff for y'all. I think, but we'll see. And then last but not least, wrapping up the day on Sunday and wrapping up week 1 ultimately is Swipa versus Gifted. So it's going to be a good day on Sunday too. Y'all be sure to pull up. Like I said, it starts at 6 p.m. Eastern. Before we get up out of here, though, a couple other things. I've already told you guys this multiple times, but I'm going to tell you this again. Like the video. I told you this again already, but I'm going to tell you this again. voting is not just a live vote. You can also vote on any video where you see these guys. So if you do see these guys, after this video concludes, like the video, and then tell us who won each battle. If you got Haize over Chilltown, all you got to do is say, I got Haize, or you can say, I got Haize 3-0, or I got Haize 2-1, etc., etc. The same thing with Big Ox versus OG the Beast, the same with Casual versus Elder Rufus. We need you guys to vote because we need a real calculation on who actually won these. Y'all got Sunday's matchups. One more time, I'm going to show you guys the divisions because this is who will be battling throughout the whole thing. And keep in mind, too, as I put these divisions up, the winner of each division will determine the seeding. Everybody will make the playoffs, but the seeding is based on who wins their division. You guys can see here, these are the divisions up here, and it's a total of 16 debaters. There's 4 divisions, as you can see. With 4 divisions, it's 4 contestants in each divisions over a 4-week season or division play. All debaters will battle each other once, and each debater will get a week bye. This is how we currently have it. Group 1, you got Jack Cody, Chill, Dion from Ohio, and Haize. Group 2, we got Pirate, Zeezy, Marz, and M-Tail. Group 3, OG the Beast, Elder Rufus, Casual, and Big Ox. In Group 4, you got Penn, you got Swipa, you got Gifted, and you got our second wild card. He goes by the name of John D. These are the 16 contestants. These are the divisions, and this is what we're going to get into. I can't wait to see what happens on Sunday. I can't wait to see what happens week 2. I can't wait to see what happens week 3, and I can't wait for week 4 because after that, we'll see who won each battle, and then we'll also get a chance to see who will be ranked where leading into the playoffs. Hey, man, I appreciate y'all for coming through. I appreciate y'all for kicking it up on PC. I appreciate y'all for sticking around for these battles. Make sure you like the video on the way out. We'll catch you on the panel bright and early in the morning. Oh, yeah.